And welcome to the must-listen-to anime podcast on the internet. This is the Worldwide Weebs. The Red Leaf Retrocast is back for episode 16. We are doing Space Battleship Yamato from 1974, winter anime impressions, and Yuasa had a Twitter outbreak. He basically told a guy to go fuck himself. So, welcome to this amazing episode. I am joined with two amazing hosts. I am JD. We have here the anime Pele himself, Hickey from Brazil.
Hello everyone! Hyped intro, yeah!
Ah! And speaking of war cries, we got the Norwegian Viking himself, Tori, up over here in this corner.
Yeah! Yes. Hello everyone! I don't know what that was. My name's Tori, and I'm here.
I just got you guys so hyped for an anime cast. Let's do it!
Yeah! Let's do it.
Speaking of doing it, quest time!
Quest time! I've got a quest up there for you guys, because now I'm not watching long anime anymore. And first up, as on the quest list that I have obviously prepared, is Slayers. So I watched Slayers. You know, I'm in the 90s on my quest now, and Slayers was a popular little comedy adventure anime back in the day. People still like it.
It sure was.
People still like it. So
People sure do.
yeah. And I've heard a lot of positive stuff about it, so I decided to check it out. And it's 26 episodes, and it is probably the most average piece of media I've seen in a long ass time. It was so much nothing. Now I've only watched season 1, but it was so much nothing, and I was so bored. The jokes were so dated, and visually it was very not impressive. And story, well, who cares about a story? It's a comedy.
So what you're saying is it doesn't hold up as well as Excel Saga, would you say?
It doesn't hold up at all.
That's a callback from a past episode.
That sure is. No, yeah, Excel Saga is way funnier in comparison. And honestly, if you like Slayers, I'm not, you can like Slayers, that's not the point. But I'm just gonna go and throw this out that you're probably looking at it. If you're still watching it now, you're looking at this with nostalgia glasses on, because it's not that good. Quite frankly.
Is there a particular flower on their glasses as well?
Oh, no.
Just the color of a rose?
Just the color of a rose. Yeah.
Rose-colored glasses?
Yeah. No,
All right.
I got it.
Joke falls flat.
I got you, but we need to move along, JD. You can't stall me.
Okay, moving along. What else?
Moving along. I also watch Tetsuo Birdie, or Birdie the Mighty, which is a short OVA, short little sci-fi OVA, which is a lot of fun. It's basically about a boy who gets possessed by an alien police officer who goes around trying to arrest intergalactical criminals. And they have to be defeated. And, it's a...
Do they?
Yeah. It's a fun show.
Do they have to be defeated?
Yes, they actually do have to be defeated, because they're dangerous,
Okay.
JD. They're dangerous to the threat of humanity.
How dangerous are we talking? Threat to the human?
Well, I mean, they tried to poison the water to kill off the entire city of Tokyo, so... that scale.
They space criminals, JD. Space criminals are very dangerous.
They are. They have dangerous weaponry. And,
well, I don't know their culture, which we'll
Have
definitely
you ever
get
watched
into later.
Men in Black? Like, that shit is heavy, man. You don't mess up with space criminals.
oh,
What
yeah.
if poisoning the water hole is just part of their subculture?
Well, that's not part of our culture, so fuck
Well,
them.
then I'm fucking racist with aliens, and they should
yeah.
all die because they're poisoning my water.
Yep. Now, in order to defeat them, you know what's funny? They're very difficult to defeat. You need very specific things to defeat them, like the slime monster that comes and attacks. In order to defeat them, you need a certain substance that is impossible to get a hold of anywhere in this galaxy. Well, apart from on Earth, because the substance you need is detergent, and that's poison to them. They die from that. So,
are we talking Tide Pods here?
we're talking Tide Pods here.
Oh my god, I can't believe an anime was already way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, defeating monsters with Tide Pod ingestion.
Yeah, except, they didn't use Tide Pods. They just kind of opened a bottle of detergent and then threw it on each other. And then, there you go.
It was 100% Tide Pods.
Oh.
Just don't ruin this for me.
Fine.
I don't care if they weren't invented
Fine,
yet.
JD. They were doing the Tide Pod challenge and died. Are you happy
That's
now?
what I thought.
I mean, you're telling me that a lot of advanced races of aliens don't have detergent. They don't.
Yes.
They just don't know how. Okay,
Yes, exactly.
I'm done with the questions. Thank you. Move along. I didn't have
That
anything
is
more to add.
that's the thing about this show, because it's a very good show, and in my opinion, but there are times where it is very dumb. And those are some
Oh,
of the times.
I didn't realize. Didn't
And-
realize at all.
Yeah, and the last show I've watched is Aika, or Agent Aika. And Aika is a short OVA as well, like 7 episode OVA, and it is all about fan service, realistically.
Lots of OVAs.
Yeah, no, it is all about fan service.
Is this the one with the women that have massively giant tits?
Oh, you have to be more specific. There's a lot of those.
I was about to say that.
Actually,
Like we're talking triple Q cups here, or whatever you want to call them.
This is the one where you follow a female agent who likes a female agent called Aika, and she has this ability. Well, technically, she is the only survivor of an experiment who has basically
Experiment to make boobs grow larger.
No, it gives her a.
That is
It gives
that
her a
is
different
Manu
persona.
Hikencho. That's another anime.
It gives her a different persona. She basically turns into like a super fighter, like a super fucking, I don't know, a weird being that just is indestroyable by anything.
Except boobs.
No, nothing. She's
Damn
indestructible.
it! What is this even about?
She is an agent, and she goes around solving, well, not crimes, but she goes around, doing missions that for her company, and she gets paid for it. And it usually involves her running around in her tight skirt, fighting other girls wearing tight skirts, beating them up, and making sure that they land with their ass in the air with lots of panty shots. That's what it's about.
Huh.
That sounds like 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The entire time somebody fights, every time somebody's defeated, they always have to fall like with their face and boobs down and their ass in the air and fucking panty showing every time, no exception.
Ooh, are we talking doggy style type?
Yep.
Precarious
We're
position.
talking doggy style. Yes, absolutely.
Is there a mech involved?
Uh,
Like something from this winter anime season?
No, there's no there's no mech involved, sadly.
Aw.
Yeah, they didn't go there, but it's still fun if you're into that sort of just fan service humor. It's not great.
Sure.
It's not great. It doesn't have much in terms of story either. It mostly just it knows what it is. It knows what you want. You want to see some decent action and some nice fan service, and that's what you get.
Is that what you got, Tori?
That is exactly what I got.
Did it make you feel the fuzzies inside?
Oh, it made me feel the fuzzies all over me.
Hickey, does this sound like an anime that'll make your heart go aflutter?
Yeah. Make my heart, and another thing goes Doki Doki. Oh,
But especially your heart.
especially my heart. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's basically my update. Right now I'm watching Trigun, and I'm almost done with the 90s. I only have Trigun and Kacho
Hooray!
left, and then we're done with the 90s.
11 more years you had caught up to me.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the winter 2018 anime impressions?
I think we shall.
Ooh,
Yes.
Then we have to start with Death March. Transported to Another World, Rhapsody. The Weebcast's blood pack of the season that has been joined by the Super Anime Super Show. Go listen to them on iTunes, for example.
For example.
So, Death March, if you are so out of touch with reality, you might say, is about this 29-year-old guy who works for a game company. He overworks, sleeps at his office, kind of deal. He falls asleep at work, and next thing you know, he's transported to another world. Did you guys see that coming?
No,
I sure as hell
never.
didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
and-
I saw him. He was going to die. Definitely. That happens a lot.
He's definitely going to die.
I mean, when people overwork themselves and then just go to sleep and die, yeah, that happens a lot.
You think he died of exhaustion and now he's in this world and it's just him in heaven?
Yeah.
And that's his idea of heaven? Yeah,
Probably.
this show's
I mean,
very
isn't it
much
your idea of heaven? Being overpowered in another world and having a harem?
You know what?
Yes.
He makes a solid case.
I guess you're not wrong. No, Death March clearly is one of the most intellectual, mind-bending anime of the season.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
yeah, you
when
really
he's
feel.
first transported, he realizes he's in the game that he's been fixing bugs for, and he proceeds to see a bunch of lizard people that are at high levels. I think they were at level 50, if memory serves. He's only at level 1. However, while he was fixing some bugs on the game, he added, or a certain feature was added to the game where they could have like a meteor bombardment and kill everything. Well, he does this. Then he fights a lizard guy one-on-one. Basically, they're all dead. And he levels up to OP level extraordinaire, like 275 or something stupid.
He becomes
Yeah.
MC
And
Kun.
he can max out all his stats. He can max out all his attributes, everything. So, Hickey, this only reminds me of one of your favorite anime, is Smartphone Jesus from last season.
Isekai with smartphone. I have to say that Death March is better when it comes to handling the main character. Because they actually explain why he became OP, and I guess it makes sense. It was a broken feature.
It wasn't just given to him right away,
Yeah, it was like,
even though it kind of was.
He was working the game, and they were like, the game is too hard, and he's like, well, we have this scraped idea that giving a person a item that shows the map, the first map they spawn in, and 3 meteor strikes or meteor showers, so they can kill enemies easily, and get to the first city without any problem. If they they think it's gonna be hard, the problem is as everything in video games when they first come, they are broken. They need fixes, they need repairs. So since it didn't have it, he was the testing character for that feature, and the feature was broken. So he killed everything and got a lot of money and a lot of experience. I can understand that. It's not like smartphone. Isekai with smartphone is just, sorry, I killed you by accident. So you can go to that world and I'll give you 1 item. And the guy says, I have my smartphone. And God just says, okay, you're gonna have your smartphone. And you asked also another thing, which I'm gonna concede, which is like infinite internet, but also gonna give you the best memory possible, all the magic capabilities that is just broken. You can.
Yeah, but okay. So
you have fighting skills and everything.
I'm gonna cut you off there to continue with my impression
This isn't
of Death March. This is my impression. So, first episode, it basically just hey. My time. This is my time to shine. You can have your time to shine when you do your impression. So, first episode focuses on him learning, like, he's learning the world, so we're learning the world. He's up in attributes when need be. Sees a dragon in the air. Hits the dragon with a rock. Sees some girls. Saves a girl. Cliffhanger. Next episode focuses on him going around town, meeting a girl. And they pretty much shop and he eats food and describes it in the most meticulous, descriptive manner you can imagine.
Did you
And then
realize
at the end of the
that?
episode, he sees the girl that he saves at the end of episode 1. So,
Did you realize that?
that is Death
Eating
March.
food in Death March doesn't have any weight. It's just like they get the food, put near the mouth, and it just disappears with a noise. Did you realize that?
But he realized how delicious it was.
Yeah, I know, but like the act of eating, it has no weight. It's just an animation of
Alright.
food disappearing. It was quite
yeah.
fun.
There's a reason why it's the Blood Pack show. This show is so boring. Now, I did have one thought that crossed my mind while this like food scene was happening. Not a scene, sequence, because it lasted for minutes.
And it'll happen
Precious
again.
minutes that I could have been spent doing something else in my life, such as playing more Assassin's Creed Origins. Anyways, the thought was, if this was a cute girl character just doing the exact same things, this would be one of the most talked about shows.
Best show of the season.
Just because it's a cute girl doing cute things and it involves food.
Best show.
That's the point in anime we've reached. I'm convinced.
Holy
It'd
horses.
be like
we're
Laid
gonna
Back
talk
Camp
about
all over again.
No, I don't
This
know.
is talked about a lot.
Death March is? Well, yeah, we're talking
It's
about
one of the
Yeah,
most
we're talking
popular
about
anime this season.
Yeah, it's the 6th most popular,
Yeah.
according to Mal. Guys,
I know.
why must we do this to ourselves? Anyways,
Yeah.
who's got the next one? I'm done with Death March.
Hickey,
Done with it.
Hickey, it's your time. It's your turn to shine.
Hickey, it's your time to shine.
Yeah. Since last episode, I got very angry with Card Captor Sakura. I chose to talk about Card Captor Sakura Clear Him, or Clear Card Arc, which is this. It is another season of Card Captor Sakura. Yeah, it is less frustrating than the first season, definitely. Unfortunately, I can say what happens in the first 2 episodes because it is spoilers. But something happened to the cards. You know, she's the card captor. Something happened to the old cards, and now there are new cards. That's basically it. And you have some love going on with her and another character. Yeah, it is less
That much is
frustrating.
obvious.
Yeah, basically, I can say much because again, it is spoilers. But like, we have the first puzzle. Basically, when she needs to capture a card, she'll have to solve a puzzle. And that one, was Siege, the Siege card. First of all, when the card appears, like, yeah, this is like Siege or something. So I know, but instead of spending 20 minutes trying to understand what the fuck the card was, it took like 5. So I was very happy. It was way less frustrating. Also, the animation. The animation is very good. It is way better than the original animation. So I'm happy. If they don't, the Siege card was still a little bit dumb. How they finished the card, how they discovered the weakness of the card. It was kind of dumb, but I can forgive it. They just need to keep the puzzles to 5 minutes. 5 minutes to realize what the card is, and I'm good. I don't need more than that.
I did notice that they seem to increase the shoujo-esqueness of it. Because now Sakura's in middle school. They're gonna
just a little
kind of. It seems like I got the impression that they're gonna focus kind of a little bit more on the middle school relationship. So what a junior high relationship would be: holding hands, blushing, maybe a kiss. That's about it.
Yeah, because it is a new manga. It is not. Yeah. The manga is a continuation of the original Card Captor Sakura. The manga was published first in 2016, so there's a lot of new tropes to the manga, and also it's gonna be in the anime, which is good. Although I like Old Clamp, I would rage after 2 episodes of Card Captor Sakura Clear Hand or Clear Card Saga. If they did the same thing they did in the original. We look forward to it. It's gonna be fun. If you watch the first Card Captor Sakura, go watch this one. If you didn't, I don't think it's necessary. You're gonna miss a lot, but it doesn't look like it's necessary.
There's even a
there's a
like
recap. There's a little recap at the beginning.
Episode. But come on, it's Card Captor. She becomes a card captor. She catches all the cards. I mean, what more do you need?
And
Spoiler.
they changed some stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I spoiled a show synopsis from 1998.
Whoa.
They changed some stuff from the original manga to the first one, the first adaptation. I don't know if they're gonna fix it now. I don't think they will. But it's fine. They're just gonna ignore the show. They're just gonna ignore the first show and keep going.
There's really only one character from the entire original series that has like a twist. And in Card Captor Clear Card, they immediately go to him in episode 1.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I was
you're
like,
gonna
oh
miss
yeah,
that.
that's right. He's that. I was like, oh, that it really jogged the memory immediately. It was like, oh, that's right. That guy is the thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It is fun. It's gonna be fun, but a lot of nostalgia going. Yeah.
I'm
It's gonna be
excited.
fun.
I'm watching the funny dub,
I'm also
which
excited.
comes out next week.
Yeah, I'm also excited.
Next
Next one is Story with
Yes.
your
I am
first pick.
going to be
please.
talking about...
Tori's time to choke. He's gonna choke in this moment. I feel
okay.
it.
I'm going to be talking about...
Like
a
Norway
place-
qualifying for the Olympics here.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking about a place further than the universe. And, that's a show about... And I don't remember anyone's name, so don't expect names. It's a show about a girl
Come
who
on.
started high school. The second year of high school. She
boy.
wakes up one day and she realizes that, well, she had a whole bunch of plans for what she was going to do when she started high school. And now that she's in her second year, she has done nothing. Literally nothing.
Okay.
So she decides that she wants to go and do something. She has a notebook, she has like a diary full of plans of what she wants to do, and she just decides to pick something. So she wants to do something sporadic. She just wants to go somewhere, travel somewhere, go somewhere without a plan. And
So it's Bucket List the anime?
no, it's not Bucket List the anime. This is completely focusing.
High school bucket list.
This is completely focusing on that one thing. It's not about her trying to complete it.
I got the
complete that
names.
list. She is going
Main
to try
character name
to...
is Mari. Tamaki Mari.
Thanks.
No.
I don't care. Anyway,
Come on,
she
man,
decides
she's
to. She decides to go. That she wants to go somewhere, so she gets the help from her friend that in school just to call in sick for her, and then she plans to
Megumi.
go somewhere. No
so it's
plan.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off the anime.
No plan whatsoever. She just decides to go somewhere. Now she's too scared, so she doesn't end up doing that, and she ends up going to school after all. She couldn't do it. She couldn't just get on a train and go somewhere. She doesn't.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia the anime.
uh,
I'm gonna hit it eventually.
yeah, I'm gonna ignore you. So she ends up running into this other chick, or she ends up running into a girl wearing the same uniform as her at the train station. She drops a envelope with 1,000,000 yen in it. So that's a lot of money.
Eden of the East.
She ends up returning that envelope of money to her, and to this girl, and she gets very happy and she reveals her secret. She also wants to go somewhere. She wants to go to Antarctica because she is the daughter of her mother is was
Researcher?
a scientist, and she was on an expedition to Antarctica, and she disappeared. So she wants to go there. So basically,
Because going to Antarctica is so easy.
and they decide, and
That's why people live
the main
there.
character decide then that she wants to join her on this. She also wants to go to Antarctica, and along the way they recruit other people to go. And of course, as Heikki told me that he wanted.
What?
I needed to mention as well the "Oh my rubber nen" moment that happens, and that is of course how it becomes viable for high schoolers to get to Antarctica, or to become
Such
part
an
of an expedition
asshole.
to get to Antarctica.
Such an asshole.
Like there's an immediate plot. There's an immediate plot hole just in the first 5
JD.
minutes where she can't even get out of Tokyo.
No, she can get out of Tokyo. She
No.
doesn't. She is not brave
yeah,
enough to get out of Tokyo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
If she's not brave enough to leave her protective
JD,
bubble, what's she gonna do?
JD, you're the
there's
guy
a
who doesn't
difference
play
between
fighting
going by
games who
yourself.
says you can do anything. So I'm not sure you can, talk bad.
Unless the
bad
friends
stuff
tie
about
her
it.
up.
Well, maybe they do.
Force
JD.
her.
You haven't seen the show. You don't know.
Oh come on, that's not gonna happen.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
See, and the guy's
so they
criticizing Mari but not going to Tokyo alone.
Yeah.
The guy can't
Anyways,
even watch a
what-
show, can even play a fighting game.
Jesus.
This type of guy.
Okay, so basically, what Hickey
Jay.
wanted me to mention was that this moment happens when they finally manage to get on this boat that's gonna go to Antarctica, or they find a way to get there. And essentially, it ends up going with they meet this girl. She is a young idol, and she has been drafted as the first high schooler to go to Antarctica because she is gonna shoot a series of some live stream of some
Yeah,
sort.
it's a
On the way
documentary.
from
Yeah,
Antarctica.
it's a kind of documentary.
Kinda, but
This
not
makes
really.
no sense to
And,
me. I can't wrap my head around it.
And essentially, they end up befriending her, and then she ends up insisting on them coming along. Well, originally she doesn't want to go, and she tries to convince her manager to let them go instead of her. But that doesn't gonna fly, so they eventually end up befriending her, and then she wants to go, and she now insists that they go with her on this project. So everything seems set for them being able to go to Antarctica. And
So, let me get this straight. A bunch of girls stow away on a boat and meet an idol to go to Antarctica.
they haven't gone on a boat yet. They met her in Tokyo.
they try to convince the expedition guys they're going to let them go, and they failed. And this idol come and say, "I'm going to Antarctica, but I don't want you. So you guys go in my place." And they're like, "Yes." The manager says you can go on her place, but if you convince her to go, you can go with her. And they're like, "Then let's try to convince her." Shenanigans. And she's like, "You know what? You guys are good people, and I want you guys to go with me there to Antarctica and shoot a documentary." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, the asshole! Oh!"
Asshole is strong. The asshole is strong, but that was always going to happen. We're talking about high schoolers going to Antarctica.
I know there's gonna be an asshole at some time, but still, really?
Okay.
That one?
No, Hickey, shut up. Your negativity is rubbing onto me. So, basically, I like this show. What I like
I'm
about
glad none of mine did.
I like this show. What I like about this show isn't about how this is a journey of high schoolers going to Antarctica, because let's just put that out there right now. It's not going to happen. That would never happen. I don't care what situation this wouldn't happen. But what I do like is this idea, which is the idea they present in episode 1, of not like people living their everyday normal life, going on a day-by-day basis, doing, just going to school, preparing for adult life, eventually, graduating from school, either going to college, getting work, whatever. And kind of take a detour from that. Go out, challenge yourself. Go out, do something. Do something you didn't plan to do. And that is what I really like about this show, because they nailed that very well. This idea of just try doing something different with your life every once in a while. Don't just sit in front of your
Alright,
computer.
so I can kind of relate to this. You up for a little story here?
No. Let's move on.
Come on, I want to tell the story.
Fine.
So, when I moved to Germany in high school, I went on a bowling tour. And every weekend, I would pick a bowling tournament somewhere in the country of Germany and just hop on a train and go to that tournament. Because I didn't want to just stay in that town that I was being the foreign exchange student in.
Yep.
So the trick was I had to win bowling tournaments to continue paying for the random trips. And I would just I would just have a single bag and my bowling balls and just walk around every new town I would come in and just pick a random youth hostel and just stay there. Do the tournament and then be back Sunday night. So I went to Stuttgart and the ICE trains, the bullet trains in Germany. They can get you across the country in less than 8 hours.
Yeah. And that is
so that was I can relate to not wanting to just get into a mode where you just don't want to do this. And I was in high school.
Yeah. No, same thing. But
I wasn't going to Antarctica.
No, but that's the point, right? Again, yes.
Right.
The whole thing that people are
Right.
going to get caught up on is the fact that it's Antarctica. It's Antarctica because that's exciting. It wouldn't be exciting if this was, just another, let's go out of town, because in Japan, that's a huge thing. You leave Tokyo, or you go to Tokyo if you're from somewhere out far in the country. It's you're literally...
You left your prefecture?
Yeah, it's that's not shock, right? So it's kind of just to spark that, real sense of, adventure. It's we're not just going to Tokyo or outside of Tokyo. We're going outside of Japan. Hell, in order to get to Antarctica, they have to first get to Australia. Right? So it's it's kind of that.
The country with one of the most strictest immigration policies
Well,
ever.
they're not gonna-
Yeah, that won't.
They're not gonna
end poorly.
They're not gonna emigrate.
Yeah, they're gonna live there, JD.
They're not gonna fucking
They're not
emigrate to
trying
Australia.
to flee
They're gonna
Japan.
travel there.
The boat they need to take to get to Antarctica only loads people on Australia, so they need to go to Australia in order to get to the boat.
Yeah.
They would have to enter the country, though.
They would, but it's not that difficult to enter the country. It's difficult to live there.
I don't know. There's a bunch of cults there.
Yeah, still.
Yeah,
As
a bunch
long
of
as you
religious
don't
cults.
try
I'm
to
sure, I'm
bomb
sure that they're going to
anyone,
experience
fine.
that when they get to Australia.
I hope so. That'd be funny.
You can get on this. You can get on this boat, but you're going to have to praise Jesus.
Anyways, let's move along. JD, what's your next show?
All right. Oh, it is my turn, isn't
Yep.
it?
It is.
Hooray! All right. So I am going to give my impression over the anime Kokoku.
Oh, God.
Moment by moment is what it translates to. So you up for this? You up for this? Okay. So I was a little hesitant. That's why it wasn't in my one of my hyped shows of the season. It was on the Super Anime Super Shows, hyped, but it was at the bottom of theirs as well. It is about I think she's 22-year-old woman. She's kind of fresh out of college, looking for a job, and it's about her and her family, and they have this connection to a certain stone that can essentially freeze time, but whoever is involved with the unlocking the stone's ability can move around freely. So they call this this moment stasis. You can move around in this stasis world. Where this comes into play is her nephew and her brother. And her brother's like this deadbeat 24-year-old. He just plays video games all day. He's like, work, job, nah. He's essentially me right now. Just unemployed and can't really do much. These kidnappers get him and the kid, and they call the family and they want a ransom. Well, so then the grandfather's like, hold on. So the grandfather, the father, and our main character girl, they go into Stasis World to try and save them. Upon getting to where the kidnappers said to meet, and they're trying to save them, they realize that they're not the only ones in this Stasis World, and they're the kidnappers. They're part of the. It's essentially the kidnappers are part of this religious cult. So, I unintentionally did a segue there into this. Cool. So proud of myself, Tori. You proud of me?
No.
Ah, damn it! I will make you proud of me someday.
Though?
If Senpai was here, I'd hope he'd notice me.
Okay.
So, they kind of freak out, and the grandfather has this sort of teleportation ability, and even he doesn't quite know how it works, because he can only transport short distances. So when they're trying to escape the kidnappers, two things happen. The grandfather's slowly explaining like what he understands of the Stasis world, like what his grandfather told him, how it works, what's in this world, what you can do in the world. So, for example, describing the teleportation ability, he goes, honestly, I don't know how it works. I just imagine myself over to point X, and I'm there. So, it seems like you can do whatever you want as long as it's a product of the mind, but it also has to, as when the kidnappers are like looking for him and they're having their little cult powwow, they're kind of explaining certain things on their end as well, like, oh, it must be in that family's bloodline, so we need their stone. The grandfather is also explaining things like they shouldn't be in this world because the stasis stone freezes a single moment, second, millisecond in time. They would have had to, like, by his understanding, use the stone at that exact same moment. So it's the second thing going on is if you tend to do wrong or want to hurt someone, so if someone's frozen in stasis and you want to hurt them, there's this creature in the stasis world that will prevent you from doing that. Supposedly, it's the family's ancestors that stayed in the world too long or did something wrong in it. And they don't. So there's a lot of rules to the world, and we don't know what those rules are. The characters only know a couple of the rules, so it seems like it's going to be an anime of the cult trying to get them, and the family understanding more about this world of stasis and what they can do in it. I'm intrigued. It's one of my favorite of the season so far, and I'm very hyped for the rest, for what's to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds boring.
Sure.
Okay. I'm joking.
It has a good opening.
It has a yeah.
Good
I
enough.
mean, that's a good intro.
Unusual characters as well.
I'm very intrigued on it. There's quite a bit of exposition, but it's presented in a much better way than normal. Instead of just still screens panning and them talking, they're like on their way to the next destination. It shows them walking around the town trying to escape the kidnappers. So they're sneaking like into buildings, like they're running away, and they take a breather and they're like, all right, what's going on? Like, grandfather. And he's like, oh, I don't know. Let's talk this out for a second and then make our next move. So like all the decisions do make sense in their moment in times. I don't really have any problem with it so far.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me
Go on.
that I won more Hoseki no Kuni.
Why do you want to trigger me?
Because
out of nowhere. You know,
Why? I was in
show is
Tori. I was
bad.
in such
Give me
a
more
good
Hoseki no
mood
Kuni.
talking about an anime that I'm enjoying, and you bring up something that brings me post-traumatic geological stress disorder.
I don't know, man. You've been complaining to me every time now that I haven't mentioned it, so I needed an
Well, I'm
excuse.
so shocked, but why now? Why must you? Why
Because
must you do this to me?
Because
it needs
I
to
felt
be
like
unexpected.
Yep.
It needs to be unexpected.
It's not funny if you expect it.
There was a tremor in my heart when you said it, and it made it felt like an 8.0 on the Richter scale just hit me so hard of negativity immediately. It's just shocks to my brain.
You know, just repair with some
take
gold
a-
alloy. You'll be fine.
Hoseki no Kuni is great, everyone. You should watch
I'm
it.
just gonna take a deep breath and sip my coffee.
Anyway, I'm gonna my turn now. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about Overlord 2. Again, this is
Yay.
second season. Second season of Overlord. Overlord. Overlord was a very good series from some years ago. If you haven't watched, you should go watch if you like fantasy. Without a lot of spoilers, they settled out the Nazareth tomb, and now they're going to war. So it was basically the first two episodes were basically showing the factions of the world. You have a theocracy. This is all from the first season. You have a theocracy, you have a kingdom, and you have some lizard people. And they're going to war. Also, there are spoilers on the openings and endings. And I would avoid that as much as possible. Although they're good. They're not as good as the first ones, but they're still good. Yes, you guys are hyped to watch Overlord Season 2?
Oh yeah.
Nope, not me.
Oh man, I love
Why?
Overlord.
What is
Season
your
1.
problem?
Because I watched the first few episodes of the first season. I wasn't into it.
Wow, JD has bad taste.
Oh,
Okay, going to Twitter
News,
now.
news.
At Tori.
everyone.
Tori extra procs. All right, go on, Hickey. It's fine. I'm just writing angry Twitter things to Tori.
I'm Twitter closed, JD.
Uh,
I hate
I'm
you.
so like. I don't know. I still like Scrub Manga. Scrub Manga is still very good. So yeah, I'm interesting to see. I'm interesting to see two spoilers that were in the fucking opening and ending, man. Like it kind of spoiled the fun of the show. Basically,
Nah, man.
there, in the opening, I guess it's not a spoiler if it's in the fucking opening. There's one subordinate of Momonga or Aizengo that appears in the opening fighting against him using a mask. So I really want to see why of that. In the ending, there is a princess that appears in the first episode. She looks like that innocent girl. And when you have an innocent girl, she might in a series show like that, she will be one of the three things. She'll be innocent, and she might die. She's gonna be a crazy bitch, or she's not gonna be a crazy bitch, but she's gonna betray someone. And by the ending, looks like she's gonna be the crazy bitch. So I wanna watch it. I'm really excited to see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The thing I have a problem. Well, not so much a problem, but I'm not particularly fond of the start of Overlord of like the second season of Overlord. I don't really care that much about these lizard people or these crocodile people. I could do without that.
You don't like the little lizard woman?
She's fine, but like it's one of those things like I'm not really here for them,
Yeah, I know, but like it is setting up the world, and if they started the second season setting up the world, it means that we're gonna see some war going down, and some heavy stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm looking for it. It's good that they are getting over the build now at the beginning. Like it is already the second season. You go watch the first season, then you go right into the you watch the first season, you go right into the second season, and you're gonna get the world build. World build is done. Let's go to the action again, which is I think it's kind of better for a second season than the mix of action and world build from the first season. In that aspect, in that regard. Of course, it's a little bit less good. Not worse. I won't say worse because the worse is a way strong word. Less good than the first season, yeah. But still, they're getting rid of the world build now, so they can focus on the action and adventure later, which is good.
I hope so. Yeah. Well then it's my turn again, and I'm also going to be talking about the second season, and I'm going to be talking about Dagashi Kashi 2. Now, Dagashi Kashi is, for those that remember the first season, is a show about a guy called Coconuts, or Kokonotsu, who... a
lot of sequels this season.
Yep. He's the son, or he lives in a candy store. Like, his dad owns a candy store. And one day, Coconuts is going to take over that candy store. Oh, he doesn't actually want to take over the candy store. And in comes one day a rich girl, and her name is Hotaru. She wants to hire Coconut's dad for her company. So she's kind of trying to hurry along the succession here, and let the fun begin.
Is this a short?
This season is yes. This season is a short and short. It's 12 minutes an episode. So it's not super short, but it is.
Okay,
it's
so
half.
It's half.
Yeah, half.
Okay.
And I don't know. I like that a lot more, honestly. I like that it's shorter because I thought the second season's the first season's biggest problem was that the jokes they kind of they
compounded and lost how fresh they were after a while.
Well, not that they had to stretch them out to fill an entire episode.
Right.
Because they didn't put that much content into a lot of episodes, so they kind of a lot of stuff just ended up hanging around for way too long for it to be funny, in my opinion. In this second season, they opted for 12 minutes, which for some things can feel a little bit short, but for the jokes, it makes sense because the jokes are now way more snappy. Like they kind of just like, oh look, and the jokes obviously surround the jokes are all about Japanese candy.
That's actually pretty interesting. That's an interesting concept. I see that with I'm seeing something like that with March Comes In Like a Lion, with how they differentiate between each chapter. Like they'll do, if a chapter takes 2 episodes, they'll take 2 episodes. If it takes 5 minutes, they'll take 5 minutes. So it seems like this breaking from the norm of a chapter or a volume or what have you has to be the set amount of time.
Yeah.
So this shorter version, like maybe if that first season was like 12-minute episodes, I would have been more into it.
Who knows? It does
because the jokes would have had staying power. And
yeah,
whatnot.
But I mean, it's not like it's a strict positive that it's 12 minutes, but. I think like it definitely helps the comedy along, and the comedy is a big portion of this because again, we're essentially talking about a show that is about Japanese candy. It usually just ends up about Hotaru showing up at the store and she's like fucking exploring the candy of the week almost, and they make jokes around it, and it's funny. I like Hotaru. I also like Sayaka. I like her more actually, the coffee girl.
Yeah.
She's best girl. I like her piercings. I was afraid.
A man
What do
of
you
good
think of
taste.
what do you think of the new character designs?
Yeah, that's a big controversy because they did the second season is no longer done by, I think it was Spiel that did the first season. This time it's Tesca Production, and they changed the character designs. Now some people don't like it. I personally don't have a problem with the designs of the first season, but I don't have a problem with these designs either. From what I understand, they're closer to what they look like in the manga, which makes sense. And they don't look that bad, honestly. Sure, there are times where they, like, I noticed in the I think it was the second episode, like Sayaka's ears at certain times looked a bit bigger than they needed to and whatnot. Like there are certain clunky things going on there, but I would say that's not necessarily down to the designs. That's just down to somebody, or like somebody trying to do their job very fast or like move on to something else. So they didn't really check that too well. But that's speculation.
So you're kind of under the impression why not like both?
Essentially, like there's nothing about those designs for the second season that is that like they're different. They're definitely different, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to like go
just because they're different doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not in the mindset of like, oh, I like this, so therefore nothing can change. Right?
That argument is heavily what we're gonna definitely experience when Legend of the Galactic Heroes comes out again with.
Yeah, I was just about to say
the
that.
pretty the pretty 80s boys now being translated to pretty 2018 boys.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say as well, right? Because that, especially if you go on like sites like 4chan and whatnot, you'll have noticed that a lot. People there are up in arms about the changes to the design and how now they look like they're out of some fucking shoujo like yaoi. It's like they didn't before. They were pretty boys back in the 80s. They're still pretty boys now.
Damn right they are.
I don't know. I can't get on board with that type of fandom where it's like I understand. Like I'm not sitting there saying like you shouldn't prefer one style over the other. Like I obviously there are things that I like better about the designs of the first season and the second season. I like Hotaru's hair better, like hair color better in the first season than I do in the second season. But like there are things like that, but it doesn't mean like, oh, because these are not the same, now I hate this. And it makes sense. It's a different studio. They have different people working on it.
Different ways of doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. My last impression is over the Junji Ito collection. A show that's getting a lot of negativity, actually.
Shock.
I don't think it's warranted. No, it's not a great show by any means. It's not going to take the world by storm. I think Kokaku's much better. However, coming from a person who has the 3 hardback covers of Junji Ito, this is an anime focused on a lot of his short stories. It's I don't know a lot of background over him, but to my understanding, he does have a collection of short stories that just weren't either long enough or warranted a volume of their own. So each episode has 1, 2, or even 3 kind of his short stories, and the way the presentation is very Japanese horror is the best way I can describe it. What that means is it's filled with moments to make you uncomfortable and uneasy. And Ito has this thing about bringing this element of comedy to his type of horror. It's a lot of Japanese horror focuses on the grotesque as well. So every episode always seems to at least end or decrypt a person becoming kind of a skeletal figure of themselves based on the fear that person is going through. So you'll see that like their cheekbones start to show because the person's clearly not eating enough. Just things to make you uneasy. Not really much to say other than that. Obviously, there's going to be certain short stories that are better than others. Maybe some won't really vibe with you. I mean, a lot of people seem to be negative on the very first one that focused on a kind of this kooky teenager who wanted to curse everybody.
Oh, it was fun.
Have you guys watched any of Junji Ito yet?
Yeah.
I have to watch episode 3. But yeah, watch it episode 1 and 2. I like the first story. It was very funny. You know, it's Junji Ito. Junji Ito, although he's considered a horror writer, but I guess it's more psychological horror than actual horror.
Well, yeah, that's what Japanese horror tends to be, is focusing on the mind, bringing fear over than, say, what we in the West know more associate horror with, say, jump scares.
Yeah.
That's what I see it as. Or the a real horror movie would be The Exorcist or something. That's not what we're gonna get here.
Yeah.
What we do get is a pretty boy at an intersection crossroads, because a lot of high school kids have rumors over something being haunted. Oh, you want to know if your love life is going to work out. Okay, well, I heard this rumor that a pretty boy will see into your love life future. Well, they go to the crossroads. The pretty boy's like, your love will never be you will never have the love you want. And then the girl, devastated, has a fixation in her head. Oh, well, if I'm never going to have the love of my life, then there's no sense in living anymore.
You know, that whole episode kind of made me, like, I don't know, I was not a fan of that episode. I'm one of those people who aren't really a fan of the show in general. And all I can think of watching that is like, this is so Japanese horror, because this is such like a depiction of Japanese society, and like how people in Japan are. Because the whole fact is, like, to me, all I can get from this is like horror based on the fact that you talk to some random stranger in the fucking intersection, telling you that your love life will never pan out, which it won't for most people in Japan, because this is Japan, and as such, they kill themselves. Like, it's one of those like weird, I don't know, I almost want to say like taboos in Japan.
Yeah, you gotta kind of put yourself mentally in their shoes, which I kind of like. For us Westerners, this is definitely more of a comedy, if anything, and I find myself laughing every episode because I find it hilarious. Like, a little 6-year-old goes to an intersection, and a woman goes, "Well, I cheated on this guy, and I'm gonna have his baby too. Will I realize both my loves?" And the little kid's like, "I don't fucking care, get away from me." And then she kills herself because he told her so.
Yeah, nah.
I don't know. I find it hilarious.
We had one very Western-like, which was the movie one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very Western. Going like in the middle of nowhere with this weird woman, and all of a sudden she started eating them. Yeah, that is very Western.
Yeah, it is. Now, like, my problem though is that, I don't know, like, I keep hearing that everybody's like, oh, this is more like, it's not so much scary, it's more about focusing on, like, kind of having a bit of humor in there, and, like, weird, Junji Ito's weird and whatnot, but, like, and, it's more about making you uncomfortable. The problem I have, maybe I'm the weird one, but I watch it and I'm neither laughing nor am I uncomfortable. I'm just sitting there staring at the screen.
I'm the same. I'm either laughing.
Well, I can totally see that. Yeah. I can totally see that. I think that's where the majority of people are. At least from our perspective, is you're just kind of just going, what, why, what is? I don't really understand. No, that's not funny. I'm not uncomfortable. It's just weird.
Yeah, like that. The first one is the baby.
I personally love the character art, the designs, the atmosphere set. I love all of that.
The opening and endings are very good as well.
So
No one.
I don't really have
listened to
anything.
that.
I mean, it's Junji Ito. I don't know what people expected. To me, it's being faithful to what he is. I think it's depicting his type of horror exactly the way you want it to. I sure it could be scarier, but that's why these aren't full volumes.
Honestly,
manga
I
volumes.
think most people just. I think most people don't actually know who Junji Ito is. I think that's the problem.
They probably haven't read any of his stuff, because reading Gyo and Tomy are just bizarre, and Tomy actually makes me feel quite uncomfortable the majority of the time. I stopped reading it before bed because I was starting to have weird fucking dreams.
Yeah, that's why
women
I don't
coming
watch
up to me and saying
Junji
weird
Ito
shit, and then I'm
Collection
becoming fixated on them.
Like, I know, like,
So
yeah, the bookstore near my house has the Junji Ito collection. I went there, I read the book, and there's some really, really weird stuff coming out. I know for sure that's not the end. And yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
It is very uncomfortable. It is very creepy. That is Japanese horror.
This anime reminds me of one from last year, Waru Salesman.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
I'm like one of the few people that actually watched it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. It reminds me. It has an old anime type feel to it. It's definitely for a niche audience. It's clearly not for everybody. I'm putting that out there, but there is no way I think it's as bad as everyone's saying it is.
No, yeah, I guess it's not bad. I guess people are just not used to Japanese horror. They should be used to Japanese horror right now. You know, there are actually jump scare mangas out there, but they won't be adapted anytime soon. Usually, Japanese horror is either weird, disgusting, or gore. Just gore. And
Give me gore.
Yeah, and you kind of get a mixture of all three with Ito.
yeah, and comedy. Ito also has a lot of comedy on the things. But,
it's a weird comedy for sure. I don't think I've experienced much like it. I mean, the closest I can think of is Kurosagi Corpse Service. But Kurosagi is a straight comedy, and that's why the horror works in that, because you know they're going for comedy. In Ito,
Kurosagi is also social commentary.
Sure. But the mangaka is on record saying like he wanted to bring his type of horror in a different light.
Yeah, no, I know.
And so they're almost like yin and yang in Japanese horror comedy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is just me, but I feel like that whole, because I see this so much with Japanese horror authors now, they kind of keep, like, they all say the same thing. I want to bring this, like, unique horror mixed with comedy twist. But I don't know. To me, that's not unique anymore, because there are so many that does that. There is, like, I feel like that's what most, like, horror authors do now. They try, like, not necessarily in the same way, but they all want to try to find a way to mix humor and, like, dark humor and horror. And I don't know. I feel like most of the times they don't work. Like, just look at Mayu. Look at Mayu.
Well, how about
example. This? That was a very good example of dark humor that just doesn't mix with. I mean, I wouldn't even call it horror at all, to be honest. It focused way too much on the dark humor, and it's just like.
Well, how about this? Just one last comment, and then we can move on to the Hickey's last impression. Is Japanese horror anime. First of all, there isn't a lot of it to begin with, because they don't sell well, so they're not made.
Which is weird.
Right?
No, but I mean, like, honestly, look at Japanese folk
a lot. Well, sure, but I mean, all right, that's a different topic. To my point. I'm thinking of in the case of Shiki, where there's a good atmosphere, good story build up, and it always seems to fall flat at one point in time to focus on, be it tropes or the wrong thing. You know, and at least what you're getting with Ito, in the case of Ito, is consistency, closed-ended stories and a consistent showcase of his horror not being filled with, say, the anime tropes of today, as an example.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to use that example, I'm just going to immediately say, yes, I know, I agree. Like the Junji Ito collection, it's way better than Shiki.
Okay.
Right, and what's sad is, I think I'm gonna actually, I can already tell I'm gonna enjoy Ito more than I enjoyed Shiki. Not to say I didn't enjoy Shiki. I think this is gonna be better.
Fine, I will say it. I didn't enjoy Shiki. I think Shiki is a steaming pile of garbage.
No, it's a B movie.
I think it's a steaming pile of garbage, even as a B movie.
The best episode was an OVA episode.
That is sad.
And Shiki. Anyways,
Yes.
we digress.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's my impression over Ito. I thought it was worth talking about, even though there are other anime out there I could have discussed. But we can save that for kind of a mid-season impression.
Sure.
I guess. I just want to say before going to my that if you want to, if you guys who is listening and you guys, if you want a story that it is actually horror and it is Japanese horror and it feels like horror, doesn't feel like gore, psychological. There's a manga called Ibitsu. It is very, very scary. At least I thought it was very scary. I couldn't sleep after reading that. I was afraid of going on Japan and meeting a gothic Lolita at night because that shit was creepy.
Ibitsu 2009.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
It is quite a ride. It is. I thought it was scary for manga, and it is Japanese horror at the core, but with this more jump scare, creepy thing chasing you. You can escape. Just
Ooh.
nightmares and despair going through and through.
This might be right up my alley.
Yeah, this
I
one
might check it out
it is
too.
very good. Not only the story, but they also have like those side stories. And like the one of them is a stalker, like this monster like stalker, and the other one is a mannequin doll factory, and it's just bizarre. It is just weird. Holy shit! Oh,
Nice.
I'm gonna read that
I'll take
again.
your word for it. I'm gonna have to look into this. It's only a couple volumes.
Yeah,
So.
it is. It is quick. It is very quick.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Hickey. What's your last one?
Going from Junji Ito collection, we're going straight on slow start. Last cast, I said that from all the cute girls doing cute things of the season, I was hyped for Euro Camp. But slow start has two things going on for it. First of all, it got me very concerned. Really, really, really concerned because the characters look very young. Like, very, very, very young. They look first year of middle school sometimes. It is concerning me, really. I never felt like that. I am highly concerned of the show. But what I want to highlight here is actually the animation, because it has one of the best animations, I think, this season. At least one that I really like. Because there's one animator called Kosuke Yoshida working on Slow Start. And he worked on Girls and Panzers, and I really, really like Girls and Panzers. What he did is, his uniqueness as an animator is body language. He's good at animating lively and random body language. And each character has a body language that is unique to them. This is this guy trait as an animator. So, instead of the character just looking to the side, they're gonna bounce, they're gonna, mess with the hair, they're gonna gesticulate with her hands.
Oh, I really like that.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
That annoys me because I don't want to watch that show.
That is right. I'm very concerned, but every single episode, like I know he worked on episode 1 and episode 3. You can go on Sakugaboru right now and watch the clips.
Yeah.
He was very good on Girls and Panzers. Like I really like one of the things that makes you enjoy Girls and Panzers is that the characters move freely. They move freely on screen. It doesn't look like they're following a pattern someone decided to. They have some movements they did that looks random. And And then he was also in Girls and Panzers the film. He was better, and now he's on Slow Starter, and he's way better than he was in Girls and Panzers. So I am excited every single week. I'm excited to watch Slow Start, although it gets me so concerned. But damn, this guy is so good animating, and because of his animating, it has the Girls and Panzers vibe all through and through. Also, like, it is even more concerned like that. I had a talk with Ayu on our Discord, one of our Discord members, which you guys who listen can totally find on our mall page group or through Red Leaf Retrocast official Twitter. That is just JD's old Twitter. Or you can find a link to join our Discord channel and talk to us more about that kind of stuff. But like I said, it is highly concerned. But every single week I want to watch it because of the animation. Also, there's another animation. There's another animator here. That is Masato Ano. He's new. He was the character design on Flying Witch. He was the designer of Flying Witch. Oh. He started animating. He was on Bland Ass last season, and now he's working on Slow Start. And he's getting the same trait for body language.
I sense a pattern.
Yeah, he's getting the same thing for body language. And I think he wastes more keyframes doing the body language. Yoshida is more conservative with that, but still the animation is so great. But I feel like dropping the show. But every single week I go back to it because of the animation. So yeah, it needs the highlight. You're gonna watch the show.
Sounds like you're falling into the Moe trap.
Go to Sakugabaru. Go to Sakugabaru and look up the animation.
I will.
Go there and watch it.
Look, we'll get it. We'll get into a certain otaku culture anime. I wish anime would present characters with more body language. I mean, coming from a retrocast, we understand that techniques and whatnot were limited back then, but watching something today, you really, instead of focusing on like the characters, how the eyes looks in so much detail, I really wish that it would show characters talking with their hands more. Maybe instead of just a simple blush on their face, it shows them kind of like turning their shoulders and a girl looking down and then messing with her hair a little bit. Yeah. We don't get a lot of that at all.
Another good example of that is like the Idol Master and Cinderella Girls as well. There's a lot of that there. Where it's like I said, one of the things I like is the basically you can see their personality through their movements, right? Rather than just you don't need to hear them talk or explain every situation to understand what kind of personality they are. You can tell by the way they move, by the way they act just in front of a camera, for example. Right? It's like, okay, right. This person is like, this girl, she's that type of character.
Yeah. Also how the hair is animated on Idolmaster and Idolmaster Cinderella Girls is just great.
God, just looking at that, what you just posted, Hickey, oh, god damn it. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Look at the laugh at this one. There's a laugh that is just like, oh, I need to watch this episode now. Sad. No, sad. I'm not, why this guy is making fucking Slow Start and it's not on like... Oh, I almost said bad at anime, but... Like, why? Why? Okay. Yeah.
Sad.
Move on. Or we're gonna just talk about animation for the rest of the day.
No, I know. Okay. Now it's time for my last one. And my last one is the one that we've all been looking forward to, the one we all want to talk about. It is Pop-Tepi-Piku, or Pop Team Epic.
Yeah!
Robot Chicken the anime. Here it is.
Pop Team Epic. Pop Team Epic has coined the popular term in Japan, kuso anime. Or shit anime, or crap anime. Well, however you wanna talk about it.
Is that a new term?
That is a new term.
That's happened?
Yeah, that is a new term. That is Pop Team Epic. And all
right, I love
essentially that. What it is, it's just a bunch of shortcuts, or not even always shortcuts, but it's like it adapts a 4-panel manga. That's basically just a bunch of like weird like jokes and whatnot, really quick jokes. The anime takes up way more liberties with itself. It doesn't necessarily always follow that, but it does follow the same like comedic formula. And it's like it always tries to be weird, whether it's in its references, and God does it love references to everything, whether it's anime, games, what have you. It's bizarre. It's hard to describe. Realistically, I'd say like watch, I don't know, anything really. You don't even need to watch an episode. Watch any little gag from that show, and you'll get a feel for what it is, because it's weird.
Oh, it's all over Twitter.
It's weird. Yeah, no, it is everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
and
people really like the manga. Like, people really like the manga. The manga is so good as well.
Oh yeah. People like the manga, and people either like or hate the anime. It is such a divider. And for something we're going to talk about later as well is well, I'm not going to spoil it, but this guy who we're going to talk about later, he has also voiced negativity towards Pop Team Epic, to which I'm not sure if I have a feeling that now, because this makes sense, in the last episode of Pop Team Epic, they were responding to fan mail in the show, and I have a feeling like that was in response to that guy. Because they were basically did this gag where it was like they got a fan letter, and it was basically just said, you know, your gags or your impressions are not funny and unoriginal. You should really try better. The fact that you can call yourself professionals is a disgrace. And then, you know, the only reaction they do was kind of the fucking blonde hair girl. She kind of just, you know, poses and just go just kind of poses like cutely, and it's like, got you. But it's like it's so weird. It makes no sense. Like, also, it's not even. It's a full episode. Like, it's a full 23-minute episode. That's what I was gonna say. But it's not. It's cut in half, and they have a set of female characters that does the voice for the first half, and then they have like male characters like Norio Wakamoto doing the fucking voice of one of the girls. It's so hilarious.
I did see that someone post on Twitter a gag, and to the left was Frieza and Cell, and then to the right was the gag.
Yeah.
And saying both voice actors are in both of these things.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I especially like.
I think that's pretty funny.
I know you like the female voice actress, or at least one of them.
Pipimi Uesaka Sumire. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah,
she's Dekomori.
I gotta say though, I actually prefer Norio Wakamoto as her, because quite frankly, even though he's not a girl, Norio Wakamoto is somebody I've paid attention to for a long time, and that guy is hilarious in his weird ways, in his weird grumpy ways.
Like the first episode, they show the male voice actors first, and you have that police scene, and he's like, "Do you know what you did? Do you know?" It's so fun. Like with his voice, it's just hilarious. With Uesaka Sumire voice, although I really liked hearing her swearing like a sailor. I think his voice to like overreaction that Pipimi do sometimes, it is funny.
Yeah, like he's got like, I mean, in his defense, he's got like, you know, decades of practice doing this. He's been doing these kinds of reactions and just like funny voices and whatnot for years. This isn't the first time he's done something like this.
Like, it is fun. What I'm doing is that I watch half of the episode, go watch like 2 episodes of an anime, and then go back. But like, there's a lot of jokes I really like. In the like we had the idol episode. Last episode was an idol episode. And like you see Pipimi using a M Bison outfit at the end of the episode. You had the French guy, the French animator guy. Doing animation of Pipimi and the other girl. I forgot her name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
God damn. They go into French and, you know, talking
Isn't
French.
It just Poppy and Pumi or something?
Something like that, yeah. Pipimi or something like that.
Yeah. and like it is fun. They had a lot of different types of animation so far. That is also interesting.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the episode goes twice, it's a little bit bad, in my opinion.
I can
of
agree
course.
with that. Like, I
still,
understand why
if
they
you-
do it, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like, because they have different voice actors, it's about the different deliveries of the jokes. The problem there is obviously, at least for a lot of us Western people, we don't understand Japanese, so we only read the subtitles. Like, we can hear, but we don't really appreciate the different deliveries as much as a Japanese person would.
I mean, they changed some stuff. Like when the French
Slightly.
guy is on screen. When the French guy is on screen, the first time he appears, like in the first half of the episode, there are no subtitles.
Yeah.
In the second part of the episode, there are subtitles. So they're like, "Do you want to know what they did? Do we want to know what the main characters were speaking in French?" Well,
Yeah.
you either know French, like I do, or you go and go to the part of the episode where the second half to get there.
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
things I don't like. That's more on Crunchyroll though, but I feel like they do that because they want you to watch the entire thing. That's why I feel like that's why
Yeah,
they
well, like
don't
this,
sub it
like
the
for
first
example,
time.
the second episode, they had like the summon, they summoned the main characters in another anime, and
Yeah.
they're like, do some impressions to me, and in the first time, the voice actors actually, you have the live footage of the voice actors and like the voice actor and the voice actors, and they just quit. In the second one, they just start freaking out. Like,
I love
can't
when
do this with the pressure, and it's funny.
I love
it's funny,
it
but
when they start. I love it when they start
is not
bullying
work.
the producer.
Yeah.
And the second one, when they just start bullying it, they just take his glass and then start throwing it over and said like, "Nah, you can't get him. You can't get him."
Yeah, but it's like it is not worth. Seriously, it is not worth. So what I'm doing, like I said, is watch half of episode, go watch another thing, go play some games, then go back and watch the other half. I still need to watch the second half of the last episode, actually. Now that I remember.
It's not really worth it, but I don't know. I still like the show. I think it's funny. I agree that I think that I don't think it's worth it that they should do it twice, but you know what? It's fine. I can deal with it. I like the show. I don't care if it makes me a crappy person.
Only Hoseki no Kuni will do that to you.
Hoseki no Kuni is a great show. Shut up.
Agreed.
See?
I hate you both.
Who thinks Hoseki no Kun is a good show? Raise your hand. Me.
Rabble. Okay, so moving on. Those were our winter impressions. Please let us know what you thought of them in the comments, whether it be on the YouTube page of Moosen Spiel, or leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Google Play. We need those reviews to come in,
Or
guys.
any review.
Inquisition Dawn.
I do have some news, though. We are no longer going to be sponsored by David's Tea due to my terrible bowling the last few months.
God damn it, JD.
Yeah. So, sponsors come and go. But that's okay. I'm still drinking them.
The sponsors
Now,
are-
what... Well... Hopefully I can get another one when I start bowling well. Anyways. Moving on, there was a bit of a Twitter war that happened between Yuasa and a digital influencer.
Influencer, yes.
Influencer. And for those that don't know, such as myself, I had to look up what you guys meant. It's apparently
Old man JD strategy.
digital marketing scheme.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a person that just goes online and kind of pokes at the bear.
Well,
That's his
not
whole.
really. It's somebody with online influence.
It's marketing
It's-
to get.
it's
It's
not
marketing
really,
to
like-
get something out of someone.
Like it's like a digital influencer is basically on your time, when you were young, you would buy a magazine and you see like this awesome dude wearing a suit and going out on a Mustang, and like, man, I want to be like that guy, that type of person. So like the digital
Well, that would be
influencer,
a-
it is like,
that would
oh,
be-
they go to a place. For example, you'd see a restaurant review, and you see, oh shit, this guy's eating on this place. Not from a critic, just a person. he goes to a restaurant, makes a review, and you go, oh, you know what? I trust this person.
Not to get into
a little bit
the
like this
semantics
person.
of a lot of things. It's different advertising techniques using different media.
Not like
point.
that. You are advertising your style, your lifestyle, basically. Then you're influencing people to follow your lifestyle. What we are doing here, if we start to make people go watch the anime, we are saying them to watch. We are influencing their lifestyle and their choices. So we are gonna be influencers. Since we're doing that through the internet, we are digital influencers. That is basically it.
Right. Okay. So basically, actually, Tori, you're the most familiar with this. I feel.
All right.
The story.
Okay.
Why don't you describe the events that preceded?
Yes. Okay. So a guy on Twitter named Yohei Kurose. This is the influencer. He's an artist, art critic, and anime critic. And what happened was he got in an argument with Devilman Crybaby director Masaki Yuasa over his dislike of Devilman Crybaby. Because Kurose, who's also previously criticized Pop Team Epic, he went on Twitter and basically voiced his lack of appreciation for Devilman Crybaby. He feels like Yuasa is trying to make an international level anime, or as he calls it, a subculture anime, which makes no sense, because as he explained later, to him, subculture anime means widely popular anime, whereas he himself advocates more for otaku anime, which is niche anime, and I think he gets that kind of backwards. But all right, let's just go with his. Essentially, he means
we could have a very long-winded argument on what actually constitutes subculture and international culture and what is meant by what he means by otaku. Does that pertain to only the niche anime fandom in Japan, and then everything else is a subculture of internet? There's a whole argument to be made there, but let's focus on Yuasa and this in this douchebag.
Essentially, so just to kind of
hey, Yuasa is also a douchebag.
Yuasa is a douchebag, but I like that guy.
Yeah, I like him. I like him as well.
But okay, just to kind of make it simple, essentially he feels like what he means is Devilman is an anime made for the people of for an international fan base, for as many people to enjoy as possible. Whereas he feels like anime should be kind of showcasing Japanese culture, and he feels like Devilman doesn't do that. So he kind of goes out on Twitter and talks about how he doesn't appreciate the direction, the animation, or layout, writing. He feels like it's all bad, it's all poorly done, and he kind of goes in. Yuasa, he hears this and essentially just replies wrong. So they get into a bit of a back and forth.
I have the quote in front of me.
No, sure. You.
Basically.
You're free to say whatever opinion you like. I don't intend to find fault with the opinion of regular people.
Oh, that one, yeah.
But be that as it may, if it's someone close to my own acquaintances, I'll object.
Yeah.
Since they have no cause to needlessly insult people who I think are doing a good job. I have no reason to be silent.
Yeah. Essentially, he's attacking this guy because he's attacking his friends. Like, Yuasa's attacking this man because he feels like he's attacking his friends. That's essentially where this goes.
Yeah. Yuasa is a very straightforward guy. If you insult him, he's not gonna give a fuck. But if you start to insult people that work with him, he's gonna get salty and rage at you sometimes.
Yeah, I like that about him though. He's honest.
Yeah,
we need more people like that.
He doesn't seem very Japanese, quote unquote. To me.
If you've ever seen an interview with him, a live interview, you'll realize that he's very Japanese. He's not the most socially apt person either, but he's. He's kind of awkward.
Yeah, but Japanese people aren't confrontational.
No, they aren't. They aren't. I know, and he is different in that way. But I feel like that's important to mention that he doesn't have the same social skills as a lot of other people do, and I feel like that's why he is confrontational. Because in Japan, you learn not to be confrontational. He's clearly never learned this. So he has no problem going after people. So yeah, Well, essentially, this is kind of just, they had their back and forth, they had their argument, and it essentially resolved with Kurose eventually just saying, I'm sorry for my words, like, I'm sorry for,
I have it in front of me.
Okay, say it then. Say the quote.
All right. I apologize for an unproductive confrontation, and said he was reflecting on the situation now.
Yeah. So, it ended in the most
win
Japanese
again.
way it could. But, no, like, it's interesting, because, again, this is kind of an old Japanese war that's been going on since, like, the early 90s, really, and that is the idea of Japanese culture versus international culture, because there's always been a divide there, because a lot of Japanese Japanese anime directors are inspired by Western movies, and or Western directors, but there's a whole group of Japanese people that don't appreciate that because they feel like their culture get lost in a media trying to pertain more to an international audience. So that's kind of...
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because of the countries I've lived in, I imagine Japan might be similar in this, such as in Germany and Canada. In terms of media, there's laws in place for there to be a limit of how much outside influence and outside media to be shown in said country. So, like, that's why, for example, Canadian Netflix doesn't have the abundance of shows that American Netflix have. They want to put more. They want to use their own products and culture to promote more shows and kind of their own environment as well. And Germany was very much the same way in that. Movie channels, for example, late at night would show maybe one American movie, and then after that would show a German-made movie.
Okay.
They didn't want to just show two American movies, because then they would be losing out on their culture. Is the feel, and I can only speculate, but I imagine I'm quite accurate with Japan being very much the same way in that you don't want to bring in too much outside influence, to the fear that you'll lose your own identity, your own culture, your own subculture.
I mean, it makes sense. Remember, Japan originally didn't even want to open its borders to the world until the U.S. forced them to.
Right.
So it's yeah, no.
Or the Dutch broke in.
No, but I can understand. Like, it is one of those things. Like, I do understand the one you want to preserve your own culture. The reason why I feel like this anime
is Norway like that, or Brazil?
Norway isn't so much like that, not anymore.
I don't think there's a law, because if you do a law like that, it's gonna be censorship, and there's a thing called constitution that says censorship is bad and you shouldn't censor stuff. But I think,
well, it's not so much censor as
no. I think
like,
it's
instead
gonna
of paying
it'll be
a lot. So here's
it'll
a
be
great
like,
example.
You shouldn't take away the chance of people to compete. And if Americans' movies are better, well, sucks to be a Brazilian movie maker.
Yeah.
But like I think there are
the best example I have seen is in the case of, because I had to look into this, was why HBO Canada doesn't have The Sopranos or Game of Thrones. And that came down to how much it would cost them to have the license for those two shows. Like, Canada would have a cheaper licensing right to have HBO if they didn't include those two shows, so that freed up a lot of money for then HBO Canada to create or put in shows of their own, so it kind of worked in both ways there.
Yeah.
So,
like,
in the case of Brazil, then maybe you may see it as censorship, but the Canadians did not.
we have Brazilian series, we have Brazilian movies, and they compete just together with American, French, Germans, Canadians, everyone.
Right.
I think there are rules from the communication ministry, something like that, culture ministry. You have a culture ministry, and he deals with that.
Right.
They probably have some rules. It's not a law. It's not a law, but it's rules. They probably have
All
rules.
right, I may have misspoke with the law part, but there are aspects in place.
Soft rules. But yeah, no. But the point I was wanting to make was, I feel like while I understand all you wanting to protect your own culture, because there's obviously like there are many cries about this, as even here, like even in Norway, where it's like, how much should we allow influences from others? Because we lose our own identity if we just try to become like everyone else.
Yeah, Norway doesn't want to be Sweden too, right?
Well, we're not even trying to be Sweden. We're trying to be America. But yeah. But
trying to be Denmark so you can qualify for the World Cup.
But what I feel like, especially with this guy here like this anime critic, I feel like he kind of misses the point, because to me it's not even so much about like the whole culture thing. It seems to me like this is, to put it as bluntly as I can, it seems to be about, but my Moe girls.
Yeah.
That's
Worshipping
kind of
little
where it
girls.
seems
Not
to
like, what I see is that he uses terms. He uses otaku anime and stylish subculture, but he never explained what. What
he did.
makes a show Japanese. He doesn't explain why a show, what makes a show stylish subculture. So we're gonna have, for example, another work of Yuasa.
All he said was all he explained was subculture anime has a greater chance of succeeding internationally than otaku anime that's focused on succeeding in Japan.
Yeah, but what is a subculture?
But he doesn't say what kind of anime that actually is.
Does it mean that at some point an anime gets so popular that it becomes a subculture anime? That's gonna be Full Metal Alchemist. That's gonna be Gochu's. Gochu wa Osami desu ka. Gochu wa Osami desu ka is very popular out of Japan. It is very popular in Japan, and it is also very popular outside Japan.
Kind
of like a Kame ga Kill being popular in Germany.
So like, what qualifies?
Like
He doesn't say that.
Does that now make it a subculture?
Yeah, he doesn't say that. When he doesn't explain why, what are the qualifications of a otaku anime and a stylish subculture anime, it loses strength in his argument. And like, we can get Tatami Galaxy from Yuasa. Tatami Galaxy is not very popular like outside of Japan. And it has the same style of Devilman. So like, does that mean it is it's an otaku anime because it's not popular outside, although it is the same style as the stylish subculture one? Just because it has less boobs and high violence? Like, he doesn't explain.
I'm gonna go a bit left field here. I think this guy's more upset that an American company, he won't come out and say it directly, but I think he's more upset that Netflix, an American company, is the one that produced this.
Probably.
I mean, that guy needs to
company.
update a bit then, because I mean, we have not just Netflix, but we have Crunchyroll, we have Bilibili, we have a whole bunch of international investors and producers now in Japan. So
yeah, like.
Well, I think that's the problem this guy's actually talking about. Is it's not so much the style and the writing, it's so much that, and of course I'm speculating.
Yeah, like he was talking.
What this guy's thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, he was talking that.
But with Netflix taking over, I think he's afraid that now anime is going to be made for a more international audience because of this.
Yeah, I don't
like us in the West only see that as a good thing, because that means we're going to get more variety.
Like,
people are going to start taking more risks on different things.
Yeah, to answer your question, we just need to wait. Like we mentioned some episodes before, Netflix is going to pop out 30 new shows. 30 exclusive anime. That's only going to be on Netflix. We're going to have Be the Beginning. I think Be the Beginning is going on TV as well, but we're going to have Project Aiko, and Project Aiko is Netflix only. Now we just wait and see if he's going to talk. He's going to say that Project Aiko is also bad, And if he says it's bad, then it's a confirmation that Yeah, what he's saying is that he doesn't like foreigners messing up with anime studios.
Yeah. No, we should definitely pay attention to that. See if my theory is right on that. Cause as you said, Hickey, the Yuasa's style is not. It's anything. It is unique, is the best description I can say.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's one of his own.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has it. It's almost like man, how do you like simple things like showcasing Devilman running on the track. Mm-hmm. It's so bizarre, and instead of the screen panning, it shows characters sliding across the screen like they're on a typewriter.
I know,
like it's just certain techniques like
how
that.
the whole
so
anime was made in
him.
Flash. You know,
Yeah,
it's Flash animation.
Yeah. The thing is, I agree with you, but that's one of the things that I like about Yuasa, because Yuasa, he very much believes in the principle that where a lot of people would like to say that they wish it was more realistic, but Yuasa doesn't want to be bound by realism when it comes to animation, because animation isn't bound by realism. You don't have to follow real life rules when it comes to animation. You can do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you can draw it and make it move. Doesn't have to follow the laws of physics.
And he can. And he certainly can.
Yeah. It takes a lot of people off guard, though.
Just because something's not in the norm of what you see, first of all, it doesn't make it bad. And second of all, it doesn't automatically make it good either. It's up to you, the viewer, on first of all if you like it, and then you can look at it critically. Because I saw people on Twitter going, Devilman's animated like shit, and I go, what the hell are you talking about?
Like the important note there just says like, it's not about being bad or good. It's about the fact that it's a stylistic choice. Somebody chose to make this. It didn't accidentally turn out like this. You also chose to make it this way. Whether or not you like it or don't like it, that's up to you. But like, you can't take away this guy's choice to make it like this.
Right. Yeah, that's a much better way to put it. Good job, Tori.
Yeah.
Good job.
And if you do want to wait and see what this guy has to say, you do want to follow him on Twitter. This guy's Twitter is Kaichoo, or Kaichoo. So he tweets in Japanese. So
yeah.
Beware.
But I think he can understand the words "fucking you."
Do we have any more thoughts on this subject?
Nah, I think we hit it.
I just gonna try and see what he means by otaku anime and subculture anime later on my own. Just see it and think about it a little bit.
Okay. Segue into Netflix here. Netflix is not simulcasting in the U.S., so now all of a sudden Americans' privilege are showing.
So, JD, what's it like living in America now?
I actually have a friend in Germany, and I contacted him. I was like, "Hey man, can I log into your Netflix account and watch Violet Evergarden?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. Do you got a VPN?" I do. So that's how I'm watching. I'm watching Violet Evergarden in German, which I must say, I did try to watch the English dub. I tried to watch the Japanese voice acting. I prefer the show in German dub, actually.
Listen to this guy. I don't even know what he's talking about.
I think I do like watching anime in different languages if the opportunity presents itself. Sometimes a language to me comes off better or presents itself better. The subject matter presents, like Ghost in the Shell in English to me is much more palatable because it's a lot of exposition. I would rather not read that much. Like if Tatami Galaxy had a dub, maybe I would have liked the show a little bit more. In the case of Violet Evergarden with German, I feel like the subject matter translates into German better than, say, English.
Yeah, like I'm watching in Japanese.
I understand the dialogue a little bit more. It hits me a little bit harder.
Yes.
The blandness of the main characters speaking makes more. It feels more real when German's coming, and there is a lot of German names and influences in the anime, so that helps as well. But yeah, not simulcast in the US. It's the only one that's not doing it, and I find it hilarious.
That was very weird. Like that was an intense week. First of all, I'm watching in Japanese. For me, like if I have access to the dub, I will watch eventually the dub. But the dub is more a for fun rewatch thing. The original thing is in Japanese. I'm gonna watch the Japanese first. Then I think if I'm gonna watch in English, in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese, in German, in French, whatever language I also speak.
Right.
So like it was very weird. It was a very tense week because no one knew what was going to happen. Well, we had the news that Netflix was investing in anime, which go with shit. Everyone who said they're gonna do bad shit with anime, that I said they wouldn't. So like everyone's like they got Violet Evergarden. Everyone wanna watch Violet Evergarden. What they're gonna do with Violet Evergarden? And there was just silent. Then the British Netflix put out that Violet Evergarden was going to release in January 11th, and people were like, "Oh shit, the Brits have it." The Brits have it, and then I think it was Indonesia. And then like it starts sprouting. Australia, Canada, Brazil had, Latin America had, and I was like, oh my god! And the US was just quiet, And then the 11th came and
Nope,
nothing came out on Netflix US, and I was like, oh, they're not going to release it. They're gonna like release it like everything already done at the end. They're not gonna be simu-dubbing. It's simu-dub. It's not only simu-stream. It's simu-dub, which is cool.
This is this weird part, right? Because here's what I feel. And Netflix US, they don't do simulcast because first of all, it's not in their business model, and second of all, they don't have to. Netflix doesn't realistically, Netflix doesn't have to worry that much about competition, so they don't see a giant need. Like, they don't see the need to simulcast. Whereas Netflix in a lot of other places, like, it's one of the reasons why Netflix Japan has always simulcasted anime, because if they didn't,
they need to.
They would get pushed out of the country. There would be no need for Netflix. So it's one of those things.
Well, the American audience, Netflix has their majority is people don't watch week to week anymore. Americans binge watch. Therefore, it'll just be released all at once, and that's their model.
Yeah, I know. And that's the problem with anime fans, because anime fans, they're used to getting it week by week.
But like,
tough shit.
My problem, like, living.
Get your VPN and get a Canadian Netflix account then.
living.
I have a Norwegian one.
Yeah, living the American continent, I was kind of scared, because basically Netflix doesn't have any problem here. It doesn't even have Amazon Prime to worry about, So like, yeah, they might do the same thing as US. And Brazil case was weird because they put on the page that will release on January 11th, and then they took out. I was like, oh fuck, no, they're going to do that game with me. And then it came back with not only Violet Evergarden but also Fate Extra. I was like, okay, they're doing it. So, but I was scared because Netflix doesn't have reasons to worry about, here. It doesn't have reasons to worry in Latin America as a whole. It doesn't have reasons to worry in Canada. But still,
have reasons to worry in Norway either.
Yeah.
Well, in Canada, there is another service. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there is another service there, but it's provided by Bell and Rogers that you have to buy individually from them.
Yeah. Here,
so you have to have a cable service to get it.
Like, we don't have Amazon Prime, we don't have Hulu, we don't have Funimation. There's actually no competition at all.
Yeah, Canada doesn't have Hulu or Hulu
here
as
in
well.
Norway, we have a bunch of streaming services, but let's be real here. They're all Norwegian streaming services that stream Norwegian Norwegian TV. So not really competition. Yes, we did just get Amazon Video, but and we do have HBO Nordic, which is just the Norwegian HBO. But that's like.
Do you get Game of Thrones on it?
Yes, you do.
Ah, lucky.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't even watch it.
Aw.
I don't like Game of Thrones.
Aw.
What?
Me neither. Don't
I'm a
worry about
weeb.
it. Move on.
It's not animated well.
Not enough giant boobs.
Sad with your
anyway.
hate.
Yeah, but it was weird. It was
Yeah,
it was funny.
Anytime
it was funny and it was weird. Like.
Yeah. Anytime I see a Twitter post of someone angry that Violet Evergarden isn't simulcasting in the U.S., I just tweet back at them, "Careful, your American privilege is showing."
Those are fun. It's just like all the subsidiaries of Netflix just made a revolution and took down the US one. It was fun.
The thing that makes me most happy about this is just because the US has always just been like the epicenter of like, we get everything, fuck everyone else,
right?
And now we're sitting here, it's like, well, we have something you don't. Eat shit.
Eat shit, US. It's funny. The worldwide weebs are just poking fun, and now I live in the US, and I'm just like, I don't care.
I have access to my friend's German account.
I have access to German. And
I might
Canadian
get shot on the
if need be.
streets, but I can watch Violet Evergarden. Fuck you all.
So this is when I come out and say that I don't even have Netflix.
That is a problem.
I know.
That's okay. All right, so we got some community questions.
Questions.
Ah,
my eye.
You ready?
No. Yes.
I'm always ready.
I'll start us off. What do you say?
All right.
It's from our favorite guy who shall but not be named.
John.
No, shall not be named.
Yes, John.
What are some of
doesn't
your
have a
favorite
name.
anti-heroes in anime? Do you prefer shows that have more of a villainous main character or heroic? So, I don't know that many shows with anti-heroes. I suppose Reinhardt from Legend of the Galactic Heroes is sort of an anti-hero because he's on the opposite side. I like Char. He's kind of your anti-hero. I think a show is stronger with that type of character. That's for sure. You don't necessarily have to have your heroic main character all the time, as long as what they believe they're doing is right, and it's not going to be world-ending, so to say, because that's always a cliche nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm always for that. So.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
You, Tori. You can go first.
Yeah. Now, I can't really think of. I don't have like a anti-hero character in mind that like pops into my head right away. It's
Lelouch, Death Note guy.
Fuck those guys. Like the thing is.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention him as examples.
No, I know, but like it's one of those things. Like I don't really care either way. Do I prefer villainous main characters or heroic? I don't actually prefer either. What I prefer is this type of character that doesn't a character that would neither be considered or doesn't consider his own actions either evil or good. Like I like this, or rather, let's put it this way: a character that believes in his side. He thinks his side is the right side. That's essentially because I like this. I like this middle ground where it's not good versus evil, and it's not or flip that evil versus good. I want that guy who believes in his side of justice versus that other guy who thinks that what he's doing is right, and then ultimately it turns out that they're actually both wrong, and they're both their actions have a huge impact on society around them. Give me that show.
Well, isn't that Char with Gundam then?
I haven't seen enough Gundam, and I haven't seen enough of Char. I don't know, but probably. I'm not like there are characters like that out there. I know. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Well.
Hey, okay.
Favorite anti-hero. First of all, I think it's gonna be a surprise because of the idea of anti-heroes you guys have on your mind. But first of all, I'm gonna say Dandy from Space Dandy. He's an anti-hero. He's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
He's not a hero. He's this goofy guy. He can even shoot straight. And he's going on adventures. He's an anti-hero. He's not your definition of a hero. And the second one would be Kaiki Deishu from Monogatari, and that's a spoiler. I'm not going to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
I agree.
he's one. He's in that category you just said, Tori. He just believes
Yeah, I
that
know.
what he's doing is right, and that's about it. That's all you
Yeah.
need to know. That's all. That's
no,
all
I-
he needs to keep going.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. It's been so long since I've seen Monogatari that I kind of forgotten about him, honestly. But yeah, no,
I like
I do agree. Like, I mean, this isn't an anti-hero, but like just to kind of reaffirm my point, is like what I like is people like, let's take My Hero Academia. Let's take just because this is recent in mind. Let's take the hero killer Stain, right? This is obviously a bad guy. This is a villain because what he's doing isn't right, but in his mind it is. And what he's doing is he's killing superheroes because to him the image of superhero has been tainted. These aren't superheroes. These are people that have become superheroes because of the fame and money that comes with it. And he just doesn't want that. He wants the just people. Obviously he's a bad guy because he's killing people. He's killing people, but he essentially, his goal is to be taken down by the just hero, by All Might, who to him is the only superhero. Everyone else is just a fake. And that's kind of what I want in characters, not necessarily just villains, but people that have a motivation to do something and can, that makes sense, that you can kind of understand what drives them, and in this case, why that would drive this person mad or insane. That's the kind of things I like in my characters.
We also have Akira from Devilman.
That guy too.
Just throwing out there.
Oh, that guy has also a bit of a problem with his hormones.
A little bit.
I just watched
Just a little
episode
bit.
5. I want to fuck.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna watch episode 5 when we're done here.
Yeah, no. Like there are many characters that does have these traits in anime. I have seen some of them. I haven't seen all. I want to find them.
Next question,
I can
Tori.
take that one, or at least read it up. So this is a question from Semi Bolt from the Discord. What do you guys think of Gatchaman crowds? Now I know Hickey's already answered this. A lot of people I know got quite. Nah, you're gonna get to answer it again. Don't worry. A lot of people I know got quite a bit out of it, but I personally couldn't find anything that struck me. What are your experience with the show, and if you got something out of it? What is it? Thanks. Now I'd like to start, because I personally really like... Fuck you, Vicky. I personally really like Gatchaman crowds. And what I like about Gatchaman crowds is because the first season, it spends time developing, showing us society and a lot of normal societal issues that occurs, and it also uses the idea of heroes. The people, though, I would actually argue that the people in Gatchaman crowds aren't heroes at all. They're villains. They are people. They're people that believe to do they are people that believe to do the right thing. But also, as I said, actions have consequences, and all their actions will affect society. So, but what they do is essentially season 1 is spent working their way up through building an ideal society, a modern society, and then the second season is built breaking that down again, because there is no ideal society. This ideal society built in season 1 is a fake. It comes with its own set of problems that just weren't present or wasn't easily realized because this wasn't the norm during season 1. And that is why I really like Gatchaman crowds. That's the short version, at least.
The short
Yes,
version. I don't give a fuck about Gatchaman crowds. It took me 4 attempts to finish the show, actually. I don't like the characters. I really, really don't like the characters. I don't like Senpai guy. I don't like Hajime. I don't like Yotsuyu. I hate Paiman. I really like Aya Hirano Aya. I hope one
Yeah.
day she come back to voice acting, but I really, really hate Paimon. I hate cross-dresser guy. He's dumb. He's very, very dumb. He's a dumb character, you know.
He's had his ways.
And JJ is fine because JJ doesn't even talk, and I really like OD. That's it. I only finished the fucking anime because at episode 8, OD says something really cool, and I was like, okay, because I really like you, I'm gonna finish the show now. And it's becoming very, very dumb, but I can't just finish the show already. I went from episode 3, dropped. Episode 4, dropped. Episode 5, dropped. 4th and episode 8, I was like, okay, no, episode 8, I can't drop right now. And I finished. But, you know, I'm with you, Sammy. There's nothing in the show that really struck me. I know what you're saying about how society works and everything else, but, like, it doesn't necessarily... doesn't justify some of the exchange of the words some of the characters have. I like that Hajime starts to become very, at least appears more smart at the end of the anime. I appreciate that because the beginning is just painful. But like
She's
when
careless. Well, she's, you know... not
when
careless, but
a
she
guy
doesn't
is
have many worries.
speeding on an alley and almost run Hajime and Senpai over, and Senpai goes, "Holy shit, that guy is wrong. He's speeding on this narrow alley. He shouldn't be doing that because he might kill someone." And Hajime is like, "Yeah, he almost ran me over, but you know, he might be with an emergency." Like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't justify the guy speeding up, you know. Every single time she tries to justify something that is seen as culturally or social wrong, it makes sense, but really you shouldn't come to this conclusion, because it is not justifying, you know. You should.
That's her character.
No, her character is being smart. She's sly and smart. You know, and she shows it at episode 10, 12, and 11. The rest, nope, not a sign.
No, but her point is that she's trying, like, she needs to offer up a different view to a situation than what would normally occur.
But the problem is,
everyone would say this guy's a fucking idiot because he's speeding. But
I know. But like,
she isn't like
someone stab you, take your money, and you're like, oh no, but he might have done it because he needs to feed his child, but he stabbed you. God fucking damn it.
That didn't happen, Hickey.
She almost got ran over by a car, and she's like, "Nah, the guy might have an emergency. Don't worry about it." I was like, "You almost
But nobody got injured."
And also the CG is bad. I'm done.
No, you're wrong.
Yes.
JD, have you seen Gatchaman?
Like it just doesn't justify. When someone put you in danger, you just don't justify their actions. You know, they might have an emergency, but it doesn't justify they going 100 miles per hour in a narrow alley. It just doesn't. But she doesn't even blink to say something like that. She's just there with the everyday smile. Like, don't worry about it. I'm fine.
All right, guys, I'm gonna cut you guys off.
Hachi, he's so good.
Okay.
Koseki no Kun is very
Even
good.
though
Agreed.
JD,
Okay.
have you not seen Gatchaman?
no.
I can give you
that.
that. The insert music for the transformation is very nice.
Oh,
I like it.
yes.
All right, guys. Even though technically shonen is a demographic, do you still consider it that, or do you think it's a genre all on its own? For those that consider it a genre, if a shonen show doesn't use tropes, is it still a shonen? If so, how? What are some of the deeper elements of a shonen that make it what it is outside of the common tropes? So, one at a time, since I watch a crap ton of it, I think that shonen started as a demographic, it's evolved into a genre on its own. Be more specific, battle shonen.
Yeah.
The tropes would be, the tropes started out when it was a demographic. You know, you had your team of 5, monster of the week kind of battle system, maybe a tournament arc. That kind of came in later. good versus evil. Basically what it is. The battle shonen genre is now consists of it still consists of all those tropes. You got your good versus evil, Attack on Titan, for example, with the humans against the Titans. One Piece, you have the pirates against the Navy. There's always an end goal in mind, with a sort of mystery of what that end goal is, whether it's finding the One Piece or making sure the world's not destroyed. There's always something along those lines. Does it have to be long running? I don't think so, but they do tend to be longer running.
They don't all have to be, but they choose to make them so.
Yeah, they're usually around that 50 episode mark minimum. Take Soul Eater, for example.
Soul Eater was good, though.
Black Clover, that's airing now. That's going to be at least 50 episodes.
Yeah, it's 50. Or no.
How can you say Soul Eater and then compare it to a bad show? Or say it's a bad show right after? I'm insulted.
Well, no, they both are going to have 50 episodes.
Still, you could have chosen so many others.
It's just what comes into my mind, Tori. You just give me a break here. Some of the deeper elements. So, this is where the demographic still comes in. The demographic is still for a younger audience, but it's still harping on that aspect of it being a genre in itself now. So the tropes and deeper elements, there aren't really deeper elements because they're still trying to keep it as simple as possible. And that's the only part of the demographic they focus on.
Okay.
Does that make sense to anybody?
Do you want to go for a story?
Comment.
Do you want to go?
Sure. Yeah, no, I can do it.
Okay.
That's fine. So basically, I mean, shonen has kind of changed a lot over the years, even just as a demographic. Because let's be real, what was considered child-friendly has changed a lot over the years. Like I said, I talked to Senpai about this.
Sure.
You know, there was a time back in the day where Devilman was considered shonen. There was a
Right.
time when JoJo's was shonen. Only recently, actually, that became considered seinen. But you have this. So, what is fit to say demographic has kind of changed over the years. I do consider shonen a demographic. I very much do. But I do agree, a battle shonen, I would consider a genre. A reason why we call it a battle shonen is simply because it's easy. If I say battle shonen or even shonen, you don't really question what I'm talking about. Like, you don't sit there and go like, oh, what's that? Like, of course, unless you have no idea what anime is. But like, as long as you know something about anime, if I say battle shonen, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the One Piece. I'm talking about the Naruto. I'm talking about the friendship and fight for friends and
The power was within you all along.
That type of stuff, right?
One Piece doesn't exist.
Natural. But yeah, and for those that consider it a genre, if shonen show doesn't use shonen tropes, is it still shonen? I mean, yes, I would say so.
But they tend to not do that.
They tend to not do that. Obviously, that's kind of the thing, right? Because what makes up something is usually it will have its presets of tropes and whatnot. But I think that you can explore a genre more than what is already predetermined to be the genre. Because remember, as time moves on, and this is why I wanted to bring up that first, where it's like what's considered shonen has changed over the years. And that's kind of the thing, right? By exploring it, you end up finding different limits to the genre or demographic. So, before people thought that watching somebody get ripped in half because it was a cartoon, totally fine. Why should my kids do that? Now, people say, yeah, that's probably not for my 10-year-old boy.
Aww.
But Mom,
No more Debru, man?
No more Debbie, man. No more belt.
I missed the belt.
I'm sure you do.
yeah. I mean,
Missed the belt.
there's still at least 5 episodes for me. He's gonna take someone with the belt. He needs
He
to.
is.
Like he needs to. Anyway,
Uh,
my opinion now is different from both JD and Tori. For me, it is just demographic. of course, you
Interesting.
have tropes, but all of those tropes and all of those situations, they are inside of genres. Like, oh, you have One Piece. Yeah, One Piece is a shonen, the demographic, but it's an adventure. It's adventure, it's action. You already have those other genres, the traditional ones, that encapsulates every single aspect of the show. So shonen would be just demographic, and I think it's not something that should have any attention at all. Actually, it is just a label saying this is suited for 10 to 16 years old. But like, you don't need to be 10 to 16 years old to enjoy that show. Just like there are some shows that are seinen, just like K-On! K-On! Is a seinen show that you don't need to be 20 to 50 to enjoy K-On!
Or Hana Yamata.
Or Hana Yamata, yeah, exactly. Those are seinen shows, and when it comes to seinen, people don't pay attention. Like, seinen is just a demographic, it's just a demographic. You don't need to pay attention to the age label that comes with the Blu-ray case. But when it comes to shonen, I don't know why people have this fixation that shonen is something special and it evolved to be something more than a demographic. No, it doesn't. Also, it is very, very dangerous when we start to pull out genres and kind of individualize words to become genres because of tropes. Because of that, we're seeing Trapped in an MMO becoming a genre because of tropes, because of a type of story. It is not a genre. It's just a type of story. It's just a collection of tropes. But because of that, because people tend to be so attached to discovering something new, evolving things to the next level, they start saying that shonen is becoming a genre. Trapped in an MMO, trapped in a fantasy world are becoming genres. Even battle shonen, we have better genres to describe battle shonens than the word battle shonen. Battle shonen, the expression battle shonen came to be because it is a good way to describe a show. Doesn't mean it is a genre. Doesn't mean it will become a genre. Doesn't mean it should be a genre. I think we have already the genres with just making out stuff already. I don't know why people in the anime fandom has this fetish of creating new words and new genres out of thin air. And for me, like I said, shonen is just a demographic.
Saying that, it's just to have a label on it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of
people got to have
kind
labels.
of the thing, right? Because like I understand what you're saying, and that's fine. But like, I mean, let's just look at subgenres, for example. They kind of always ended up appearing out of nowhere, and they usually got attached to tropes. So it's like this isn't exactly something that's only related to anime, or that is, does that like you will find nowhere else. It's kind of something that's always happened. It is a way of labeling something. It's a way of making something easy to find. Do I agree? Yes, I agree with you. Shonen is a demographic. I do. And I don't particularly like that it's come to this point where it's, battle shonen is a genre, but it kind of is the point, like I just said. You say battle shonen to somebody who watches anime, of course. They know what you're talking about. They know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make it qualified.
Hickey, why don't you yeah, well, I don't disagree with what you say, Hickey, but I don't have a problem with putting a label on something, especially if it's harmless.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hickey, why don't you take the next question?
Okay. It seems when most anime fans start watching, they enjoy a good amount of what they watch. As time goes on, we get pickier with our taste. At what point in your anime watching did you start to get pickier or more selective with what you watch? What was your taste like early on as opposed to now? That was a question from Crash, also a member of Discord. Do you guys want me to answer first?
You can answer first.
Yes, please.
First of all, the word picker here has a very negative connotation. Uh, it is basically when someone starts saying something is bad and they never tried. So like I will try to not use that word. You know, I'll use selective. Selective is better. For me, it's like when I start becoming selective, I don't think I ever became selective because I can watch everything, you know. I think I get more critical and not selective. It is another thing. You can either become selective, you can either become critical, or you can become selective and critical. Uh, and then go to Twitter say that Devilman is a subculture anime. Uh, or you can also be what we call echo chambers. You have four ways when you start watching it.
Ouch.
For me, I became more critical. I didn't become more selective. Of course, there's some stuff I prefer. That is, for example, I don't watch a lot of older shows like prior '85. It is very very rare that I go out of my way to watch shows older than '85. So like that kind of stuff happens because it is not about becoming picker because again picker is like senpai when it comes to moe. Although he tries to he tries so hard every single month he tries to watch a moe series, you know. So like it was before he started doing that, but he would criticize moe without watching it. That is becoming picker. That is negative. That is a negative person. Uh, Basically what happens is anime is not diverse. It's not very diverse. So when you watch, like when you reach that 300 anime watch it, you basically watch it everything. You know everything you need to know. So maybe you start becoming selective because you have 4 or 5 shows with the same characteristics going out in the same time, and you either don't have the time to watch the 5 of them, or you just need to watch 2 of them and get the grand scheme of things. So you go and become selective because you already know what's gonna happen in the other ones. So like it is not becoming pickier or selective with taste. I think it's more having a more refined taste. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. Why would you watch something that you don't like? You know. So that is not becoming selective. Selective is like you have a bunch of things in front of you and you select one. Out of nowhere. You just look at it and you know what, that one looks better, and you get it. No, after watching so many anime, you know what every single one of the things that are in front of you have to offer, and you know the characteristics, you know the merits, you know the demerits. You just go there and pick the one that seems to fit your taste more. My taste right now, again, I think I'm more critic than I used to be. I would just watch everything uncontrolled, like without any control. Like 14, 15 hours, I don't give a fuck. I would consume trash like there was no tomorrow. Nowadays, I am more like chilled, but still I watch a shitload of things, and I have more I have a more critic mind. You know, I go out to seek for the people who are making it, the direction work, the voice acting, the animators, that kind of stuff. I think that is the only thing that really changed it, and I'm glad because I think that is the best way to enjoy anime, of course. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. If you want to see more, just come talk to me on Discord, and I'll be glad to talk by 4 hours about that.
I liked your answer with not pickier, but being more selective.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you on that one.
You want to go, JD, or should I go?
Sure, I can take a stab at it. Well, I've been watching anime so long, I was really, I would only watch what I was exposed to on TV. So it was a lot of battle shonen, the Sailor Moon, Outlaw Star, those kind of shows. When the internet became a thing, that's when I was able to finally dive into more of the thing I enjoyed. So I'd just kind of just there was a website I'd go to, and there was a giant list, and I'd kind of just look at a show, look at the synopsis online. Do I want to watch that? Nah. So that goes into Hickey's kind of selective answer when there's just this giant thing in front of you, or you see multiple things of the same type. You have to select something. You can't watch 4 shows at once. Kind of deal.
Yeah, the same show, like basically the same show, 4 times at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? It's now. I mean, I'd like to say my taste has evolved. You know, it's kind of like when you get older. If you're still the same, I think the phrase is, if you're still the same person at 30 than you were at 16, then what have you done with your life? Kind of thing. If I'm still the same anime fan at 30 as I was when I was 16, how am I still watching anime? Why am I doing it? Am I just watching the same shows over and over again? I don't like that mindset. There's so much more out there. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea why I started the quest in the first place. Hey, I got all these shows on a plan to watch list. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna pick all these shows that seem interesting. If I don't enjoy one, well then I won't watch it anymore. Why would I continue watching something I don't enjoy? Move on to the next thing.
Like your case also.
That's my answer.
Your case is also interesting because if we're going with what I think Crash is talking to is that phase in every anime fan has where they just get a cigarette, have a beard on, and say anime was a mistake. You're going the opposite way. You know, you are trying more and more. You trying shows you haven't have a desire to try. You know, every single season that goes on.
I mean, of course, there's gonna be a couple genres or types of shows out there that I like. I won't watch a moe show.
Yeah, I know, but like
because I know it's not for me.
You're going the opposite way.
I won't watch cute girls doing cute things.
You're going the opposite way. You still don't watch them, but you still give a shot, and sometimes you like it. Which I think it's.
Oh yeah, I give the shoujo show a good try every now and again if it'll seem interesting, because I do like romance. It's I mean we spoke about this on a past podcast of how I see the current state of romance anime. But even this season with fuck, what's it called?
Koi wa Yamagari no Yoni.
It's shoujo as fuck, and yet I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I agree with JD. Like I also fall into more that like everyone who knows me is like, it's kind of been a joke for a while. I was like, everyone who knows me, if they check your affinity with me on Mal, and I swear it's between 40 and 50% with anyone. I seem to share a taste with a lot of different people, no matter what they like. That's because I've always been of the mindset of watching a wide variety of shows. And, you know, especially more recently, now that I'm not only watching a wide variety of shows, I'm also watching older shows. So I'm getting the entire spectrum. I feel like that's one of the things that have kind of made me avoid the...
We wouldn't be on a Retrocast right now if we were
but
picky.
I feel like that's one of the things that made me avoid the dreaded burnout that most anime fans get, because everyone, if you've gone into the anime fandom, everyone, when they get into it, when they've been into it for a year or 2 years, they always fear this dreaded, like, burnout. And that's that time when their shonens don't work out for them anymore. They're no longer enjoying them. And I feel like that's always the same problem. You've been watching the same show for like 200 shows. Of course you're tired of it. Look at other things.
Yeah. And then that's when that mindset then happens. They're afraid to go outside of what they know.
Yeah. Because it's scary, it's different. But anyways, to tackle Crash's question then. I mean, again, a lot of people on Discord know me from like way earlier on in my anime watching, and even back from the previous forum, and everyone will know that I used to be that guy who liked everything. There wasn't a bad anime. Okay, there were, but like, there was a time I like to say like,
old Tori. He was a good guy. Unfortunately, he died on the dark skin. See that became the new Tori.
Now you're a podcast elite.
That time when I used to rate on a 7 to 10 scale, and I considered a 5 or a 4 a bad score. Right, that time.
You fool.
That was different times. And
I like that, Tori.
I'm sure you did. A lot of people did. But yeah, no. But I couldn't.
I never knew that one.
No, you didn't. I couldn't keep that up because, again, I start actually, because this was, granted, right, I came into anime very fresh. I didn't know anything about Japan. I knew nothing of Japanese culture. I knew nothing of Japanese media. And hell, I came into anime not even as a media fan at all. I wasn't the kind of guy who would often go to the movies and watch movies or watch a lot of TV shows. I didn't have these interests. I like games, but it was mostly sports games and first-person shooters. Right, so I didn't really have any... I
like that sports game answer.
I didn't really have any like interests outside of like my own or American culture, right? And I didn't even like American media. So to me, everything was completely fresh. So everything was like a mind-blowing. This is amazing. That's why if you go back and look at my email and look at the shows that I watched very early on, you'll realize that they all have very high scores, and I've never changed them. But yeah.
And now everything's a 1.
Now everything's a 1. And my taste,
everything is...
Have my taste changed? Yes, because I think my tastes have changed in the sense that I like different things now than I did back then. I said back then, like I was young. I got into anime when I was 18. But like, even still, what I like and what I appreciate is different now to what I appreciated back then. There was a time when I would appreciate action and violence over anything else. Now
what were your first couple shows?
Now I appreciate a good slice of life story. I appreciate a good character study. Right? Like, because I'm looking at stuff differently. I'm looking at how characters are handled. I'm looking at how plot progresses. I'm looking at direction. I'm looking at animation. I'm looking at all these different things that to me before was like, I couldn't even begin to comprehend these things because just a simple like going from A to B, like in a story, was completely new to me. That overloaded my mind. I was like, oh,
we'll definitely get into something like that later.
Yeah, right. Like that was something I never experienced. I had very limited experience with before. But now I have watched over 600 anime, almost 700 completed anime. I don't have that limit anymore. I know a lot more. I've seen so much. That's why a lot of shows I watch, I will be very harsh on because I sit there and I'm like, I've seen this before. This has been done in that show, and that show. That show did it better. That show did it better. And I try not to compare. I think because I feel like it's unfair to compare everything to each other. But to a certain extent, you have to do comparisons. There are places where comparisons fit. And I don't like everything. Nobody likes everything. Nobody should like everything. But I do feel like you should try to watch shows, even if they don't necessarily fall under your umbrella of what your favorite thing is. My favorite anime genre is psychological. I love psychological thrillers. But I can't only watch psychological thrillers. That would be boring.
Have you seen Monster?
I've seen Monster. I really liked it. It was good.
Okay, cool. Good answer. Okay, so we got to speed this up here with the last 3.
Yeah.
Best anime to get drunk to, Hickey.
There was one day I got drunk watching K-On! It was a blast. I had a blast. It was fun as fuck.
All right, best anime to get drunk to, Tori.
Trapeze. It's weird as fuck.
Whoa.
Dude, Tatami Galaxy.
Steve, all right.
I also got drunk watching Tatami Galaxy once. That was a trip. It was so quick.
For me, it's any super robot show.
Yeah, I was there sitting. Man, I understand Japanese. Holy shit! All those years, and I know how to speak Japanese because I'm not looking at the subtitles. I can even read the subtitles, but I'm understanding what is going on. I'm amazing. Just sitting there in the sofa. Yeah.
You sure you haven't just seen it too much?
I don't know.
For me, it's like it's the Mazinger Z, the Gal Gaigar, those shows.
Yeah.
Because they're just so weird and crazy, and you can play a drinking game to them every time, any episode.
Also, like...
okay, best anime for hangovers. Hickey.
Dayamura Hitotose. No one knows this anime. Yeah, let's leave on that.
Okay.
Okay, best anime for hangovers.
I'm
Tori.
going to be boring, and I'm going to say nothing.
It doesn't exist because you're hungover.
Yeah, I can't watch anime with a hangover. It's impossible.
All right, here's my answer. any anime you can fall asleep to because that hangover hurts. So in my case, it's Mushishi. Yeah, that's kind of
Tamayura
That's
Hitotose again.
Mushishi, yeah.
Mushishi.
By the way, just a little information.
Maybe Natsume's Book of Friends.
I don't get a hangover. It's very rare that I get a hangover. I usually wake up feeling fine and happy because I got drunk the last night. So Tamayura Hitotose is basically a girl going on the countryside taking photos with an old Nikon camera like that uses films, and it's just that everyone whispers at you. You know, it is very chill. The second season is called Tamayura More Aggressive, but it's the same thing. So I was like, oh, is this
Sounds
the more
like
aggressive
Yokohama
thing?
shopping trip. Just like
Yeah,
Yokohama
it is.
shopping
Those
trip
two
rip-off.
questions were brought to us by Crash and Native.
They were.
So, we have our last question, and it goes into our main topic.
That's that it does.
Guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the journey to Iskanda worth it?
Yes.
Damn right it was.
Hell yeah.
I mean that was some very
Hell
good
yeah.
detergent they got. So like, yeah.
So that goes right into Space Battleship Yamato from
Otherwise
1974.
known as Star Blazers.
Oh,
Star Blazers
or
in
Uchu
the
Senki
Americas.
Yamato. Yes.
Man, okay, so my little history with Tori and I, we actually watched both of us watched this on our Quest.
Sure did.
And damn, impressive for its time.
It is,
I must say.
extremely impressive for its time. Especially when you're in the 70s, like watching anime from the 70s, you do realize that production value was not very high at the time. There was a lot of cost-cutting measures, a lot of time-saving measures, and then Yamato comes along, and it is visual. Like I'd even say, like I said, I was comparing because I watched the newer one, the Space Battleship Yamato 2199. When I was watching the original Yamato, I were directly comparing those two visually. That is insane. 2199 came out in 2012. So yeah, no, visually, Yamato was incredible.
It's, I mean, like I said, it came out in 1974. It's, words to describe the production quality doesn't give it justice.
Production quality is the reason why it got cancelled, because it was too damn expensive.
I was just about to get into that. So it was originally supposed to be 39 episodes. It was cut to 26 because when they got to about the last 4 or 5 episodes, the studio's like, dude, we got no more money. We gotta cut the shit out of this. We best have an ending fast.
Yeah.
And oh boy,
because they actually could not make any more of it.
Yeah.
So keep an open mind on that aspect. It was made by studio Group TAC, and it's an original, so it's not based off a manga or
but
anything.
it is written by Leiji Matsumoto.
And it is a Leiji Matsumoto. It is a Matsumoto work. Those not familiar with his work, he's the space guy.
Yeah.
He's the space guy, to put it simply enough.
At some point,
Group TAC, not too big even for its time. I mean, they make some OVAs. They've worked with other companies.
they worked with Madhouse.
They were involved with like a couple Captain Tsubasa, Grappler Baki. Not a big studio by any
and
means.
they eventually became Dio Media.
Yeah,
in a very shady move. I was reading that. After you said that, I went and looked up some stuff, and sounds shady, but let's not talk about it.
All right, to give a synopsis over what Star Blazers or Space Battleship Yamato is. Well, funny enough, it's actually being dubbed on Funimation right now, and it's about halfway done. And that's how I'm watching it.
But really, you should just watch it all subbed, because why would you wait?
Well,
it's so good.
I'm very much enjoying it. So, Yamato is the journey of it's a point A to point B journey, to put it simply enough. But a little bit more background on it is the year 2199, and aliens known as the Gamelons are bombarding Earth with meteor bombs, as they call them, and it's ruining the Earth's atmosphere.
Poison gas.
So the humans and the Gamelons are at war with each other, and it's gotten to the point where the Earth is going to be uninhabitable due to this. It's causing volcanic eruptions. It's changing the Earth's structure. It's not obvious at first, but the Gamelons want to pretty much make Earth theirs. That's their point. They want to wipe out mankind.
Humanity has to flee underground because of poison gas, essentially.
Right. So the retreating population is kind of at their crossroads, their wits' end. They don't know what to do. Well, lo and behold, they get a unique message from another alien from this distant planet outside their own galaxy, where mankind's never traveled before.
146,000 light years away.
This woman named Starsha from the mysterious planet Iskander.
Oof.
And she has provided in this message blueprints for the wave motion engine. And what this engine will do, it will allow mankind to travel to Iskander, make the journey their own. She will give them the technology to rid the Earth of its radiation poison. It will cleanse the Earth, and they can make it habitable again. The catch is, she cannot travel to them. They must make the journey themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And what has Earth done? Well, they found this ancient World War II battleship, the Yamato, a very famous Japanese warship that sank, and they have reformatted it, so to say, into a spaceship to make this journey. They've put together a ragtag crew with our main character Kodai, Susumu Kodai. Basically the best engineer, the best captain, the best doctor, and then everyone else are
best
kind
doctor?
of who they can gather together.
Best doctor, Heike. The best
doctor.
The best doctor.
You mean the best veterinary?
Best veterinarian.
You can't forget about. They've even put on the best robot, named Analyzer.
Yeah. Can we just say that?
Oh, so what is the way?
Can we just say that?
Okay, go.
Making Yamato a spaceship is a very dumb idea, and if we're talking about an actual situation, the person who said, "Yeah, let's just revive Yamato and make it a spaceship," would be fired in the act. It was like,
what other
come on.
Japanese battleship would they make a spaceship out of, huh?
Oh no, Musashi,
Nah,
Yukikaze.
gotta be the Yamato.
Yeah.
Gotta be the Yamato, man. Gotta be the Yamato.
It's always
Has to
the
be
Yamato.
Otherwise, it wouldn't look as cool in space.
Musashi is the sister ship of Yamato. It's basically the same thing, but the whole is a little bit different. Musashi looks way cooler than
All
Yamato.
I'm hearing is yak, 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 yak.
Sorry if I'm a history nerd and I know my Japanese and Americans and stuff shit. Although I don't play a lot of Concoli.
Shame.
Anyway.
You could do that.
No.
I guess one day.
Okay, so not only do they use the wave motion engine to travel, they've also utilized this new technology and made a gun out of it called the wave motion gun.
The shoot
Yeah.
the whoop, yes.
Shoop too.
It is the best weapon you've ever seen. Essentially, it is their ace in the hole. So the Gamelons see that this ship is leaving Earth. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And before the Yamato can warp, the Gamelons want to stop them immediately. But they don't really see mankind as a threat. They don't really know what this ship is going to do. They just see a battleship going. And there's an epic battle. that's when we see the Yamato complete its first warp, and then it gets to the moons of Jupiter in a second. Like, holy crap, right? And even the crew doesn't know what's happened. They're like, whoa.
Whoa.
We have that.
You gotta,
Yeah, we have the.
like, whoa, dude.
We have the LSD trip sequence with the jump.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Is floating and there are lights. Very 70s.
It was very Doctor Who-esque, like da 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 warp. Okay, so from there, Yamato v Gamelons, just trying to escape, and the next two things to happen is the destruction of the Gamelons' base they set up on Pluto, which is the one that they're bombarding Earth with. Mm-hmm. And the battle right after that is the battle with the reflex gun.
Which is...
And so these two battles are very important. Thoughts?
The reflex gun, I think it's the best battle of the series. Well, there's one battle by the end that might come closer, but the reflex one, it is dreadful. It is something that you don't really feel on Yamato sometimes, because especially because they have the wave motion gun, which is way too OP and can fire like it fires the energy, the equivalent of a small galaxy energy. So like it is powerful. So like you don't feel a lot of threat, but like when they are facing the reflex gun, that was dreadful, especially because they need to find where the gun was. So what they did is using the main ship, using Yamato as a
decoy.
Not a decoy, but like more of a I forgot the name. Anyway, they used the ship to make the guys fire the gun so they could find it. They are risking humanity's fate, basically future, by using.
Yeah, they have exactly 1 year to make it to Iskander and back. So so first of all, the battle of Pluto, the battle at Pluto is where Ukita Juzu Ukita?
Yep. Yeah.
Okita.
Yes. Okita makes the decision. This is the captain of the Yamato. He goes, because the crew wants to use the wave motion gun immediately, and he goes, well, hold your shit. We don't know what it does, what it's capable of. We don't know its power. They get to Pluto, and as they're escaping the base, he goes, all right, let's test it out in a real life combat scenario. Now's the time to see how much damage it does, etc., etc. And they basically destroy Pluto, like half of it.
Yeah.
And Ukita then makes the decision, we will only use this in cases of an absolute emergency, because it's so dangerous and powerful.
It is the last ditch effort.
So I think that so as OP as it is, Hickey, with the captain's decision for that, I think that makes every battle then much more important. Knowing, because he's putting it in the crew's mind that we can't just win every battle by relying on this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that in the battle with the reflex gun, because they could just use the wave motion gun, but they don't know where to fire it.
Yeah,
because all it does is fire in a straight line, as great as it is. So they had to rely on their fighter pilots. They had to rely on their radio operators, the bridge crew, to pinpoint the fighter pilots to take out the reflectors, and then they could use their trump card to finish the battle. It's really cool. We see how much the crew respects Ukita's choice. We see how much the fighter pilots come to respect Kodai as their captain, because he's a young guy, essentially a nobody.
Mm-hmm. He's an ace pilot.
All we know about him is that his older brother, was a captain of another ship that died in a previous battle.
And now he was also under Okita.
Ukita.
So
Okita, yeah.
There's a bit of history there.
Really cool stuff. And at this point, we still have. I mean, there's some things in between where our only female character in the entire show, essentially, Yuki Mori, she's helping out the doctor, and she's slowly needed in transition to be kind of the radio operator and the overall healer of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, she
really,
was like
it's really cool.
She was also like the chief of analyzing, something like that. She would just go out and analyze the environment of a planet.
Oh, she was everything.
Yeah,
she was the scientist.
She had three roles. Like she was in the medical crew. She was in the raiders, at one of the raiders, because they had two.
She was the radar.
And she
radar
also had the role of going out in a planet and seeing the composition of the atmosphere, the plants, animals, those kind of things. So she had three roles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there's some moments between her and Kodai at first they don't quite get along, but when Kodai's her bodyguard and to go to this planet to get material, because you might be asking at this point, how are they going to survive a year-long journey if they can't, like, if they're going to get in battles, how are they going to repair their ship? How are they going to have the needed supplies? Well, they go to this planet that happens to have this particular alloy, and the wave motion technology can also like create kind of this infinite amount of it can replicate an alloy that they need or replicate food or something. You know, they're very loose about the explanation, but it's basically wave motion technology does everything they need to make this journey.
What they should be
here.
asking though is how the hell can they travel 146,000 light years in a single year and back?
Because wave motion technology.
They're warping, man.
It's fast.
They are warping.
Yeah,
they're
warping.
Wormholes. They're bending space and time. You know, they don't need. Yeah. I mean, it's warp technology. That's how they did it.
I know. I would. Still shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, I know. You want the.
So that's kind of the first like 10 episodes or so.
Yeah,
and,
like episode 12, I guess, 13. They go out of the solar system or the galaxy.
Right. They're finally gonna get out of the Milky Way galaxy essentially, and this is where I think the show is. You know, it has a good beginning, no doubt. I love it. I love the couple battles. The setup is there. Where I think the show is strongest is definitely in this middle section, from about the 12 to 23 range.
Yeah.
So before they exit the Milky Way, there's the idea that they should all send a last transmission home to their friends and family. And this is where you get kind of that sense of desperation among the crew. You get a lot of the character. This is probably one of the most character driven episodes in the show, and in the 70s you didn't really get a lot of that because you know a lot of things were very episodic, not really self-contained stories like this. What do you think, Tori?
No,
because you watched 2199 where
I did. Stuff is kind of changed.
It was very much the same.
Well, it is very much the same, but it's also changed. I think they handle this better in 2199, but I'm not going to get into that. What I appreciate is obviously because first off, this is that final reminder to everyone, including everyone on the crew as well as the viewer, that this is the point of no return. Once they're past here, there is no going back. There is no retreat. There is now they're on their own, right? And of course, the thing that really awakens most people is that this is that point where you realize that you might never see your family again. You're going on a mission that there is no guarantee that you will get back. There's no guarantee they will even make it. So you might give your life to save those back home, or you might give your life for nothing. No one knows. After this point, no more communications. So it's a really really powerful episode because it really gives you that like chill, like that dread, where it's like you realize that like this is for real. Like they're actually doing this. That this is a hopeless quest when you think about it. Right? This is like
a single battleship going off into the unknown against an entire
Fleet.
alien
Yeah.
race and their fleet.
Yeah.
It seems improbable.
Also, like it is,
impossible even.
it is interesting that this feeling of there's no going back. It is through every character has it, and they do it
Yeah.
by showing like background characters. They don't even have any lines in the show, but they are in the line, like they're celebrating. It is a party. They did it. They are out of the Milky Way. So they are celebrating, they are having fun, they are drinking, and there's a line, to make the last communication home to your families. And people are happy, people are talking in the line. When they enter the room, they enter the room and there's just people keep talking and whatever. When they come out, they're crying, all the happiness they were showing before entering that room to speak the last time with their family. It's just all. They're just crying.
Like there's one character who mentions like his wife just had a kid, and all they talked about was the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
just simple things.
But also,
and they're all on a limit.
They all have like a couple minutes, like 5 minutes each, I think, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. They have no time. But it's a crew of I think they said 116 people.
Yeah.
So it's not even a large crew by any means. From here, we get kind of this is where the Battle of the Week thing tends to happen. We get some character-driven moments, but where I want to highlight here is Analyzer just not the best character in the entire show?
So
yes.
good.
Yes.
That is one of those things that I will argue. I would say that Analyzer is probably better in the original than he is in 2199.
That's because in this original 1974 version, Analyzer is a perverted robot, cracking jokes, and he drinks and gets drunk. What we mean is Yukimori is the only female on the entire crew, and he's like flipping up her skirt. He's hitting on her all the time. He doesn't want guys talking to her. He drinks with the doctor all the time, getting drunk. He's cracking shit. He's like, "You guys are afraid of the Gamelons? He's like, "Man up, you pussies." He's hiccuping. He's stumbling around, even though he's basically R2-D2.
Yeah.
There's a whole episode where he's like, he has to deactivate a minefield, and he's just hammered in space like, "Oh, I can do it. No worries, guys."
Analyzer.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's great.
Also, his episode is like as developing his character is also very good. When he gets captured with Yuki in a planet, and like he basically saves everyone by the end, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not a human. I can behave like a human being. I'm just a robot." I was so sad. Like
he's very self-aware of his situation.
Yeah, he became At the beginning of the episode, is like, "No, I'm really serious about Yuki," and the crow's like, "What are you gonna do?" "I'm gonna ask her to marry me." Like, and at the end of the episode, it's just like that realization that he will never be human. He can be human. He's just a robot. But he's special, and they say that, and the moments, the feels.
Yeah, Analyzer is absolutely hysterical. I do miss that in the remake, but that just makes one example of why the original is still worth watching.
Yep. Analyzer should have been a Star Wars man.
Analyzer for life. Okay. Now getting into the more crux of the show again. This is where we start learning more about Dessler, the overlord, commander person of the Gamelon Empire. And he has this kind of Roman emperor type feel to him. You know, everything's kind of for his entertainment. He sees mankind as nothing but this primitive ape-like race. You know, okay, they escaped once or twice before. That's not my fault, as long as they entertain me. But yet, it's still my subordinates that are fucking up. If one of his officers screws up once, he's like, "All right, well, you entertained me once before, but I will not handle a second time." And that's why we kind of see repeated battles against a similar foe. In more or less the second time, they always up the ante because that officer knows that it's life or death. Defeat the Yamato or he's gonna die. So Dessler has his military scientists always come up with these kind of extraordinary weapons that make almost no sense, whether it be creating a second sun to burn the Yamato because, hey, it's that fucking entertaining, is it not? Or in this case, the episode I want to capture is the one where he creates this like entity out of pure matter that eats the energy of everything around it.
Yeah, the sun.
But that's not good enough for old Dessler here.
Yeah.
He's also got to trap the Yamato in this mouse trap kind of situation in this area of space. But no, I am also a James Bond villain. I'm going to leave a little part for them to escape, and they have to choose between one or two deaths. That is to go into this star or get eaten by my crazy weapon.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is where music shines in the show. Is moments like this.
The music in Yamato is nothing short of amazing, honestly. One of the things that I appreciate a lot, especially when it comes to 2199, is that they didn't change the music. They just, updated it. They just updated it so that it fits today, but they still use the same music. They use the same opening and everything. And god damn it, even going back and listening to that original opening, it's so good.
Yamato.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, it gets you hyped for the show.
Yeah, every single time. Like, and it helps that probably we're gonna talk about it like after we talk about the happenings of the show. But Yamato has almost no reused animation, so every single time that insert music start playing, the OST for Yamato fighting is always brand new animation, and it's always so hyped.
Yeah. God.
That's why as opposed to other, say, Battle or Monster of the Week shows, even during the 70s, that's why Yamato stands out and doesn't seem to get stale, because you're seeing the fresh animations over and over again. Or not, because you're seeing the fresh animations instead of the same things over and over again. That makes every battle seemingly unique and important.
I mean, they should be.
Exactly. I mean, you can't have a point A to point B journey, have all these reused animations for these battles that should be unique. Otherwise, it would get stale. Yeah. Or it would feel stale, and Yamato doesn't have that. So, okay, moving on. What we see during these battles is Ukita as a captain and Kodai having his moments to shine. It's kind of their 1-2 battle. Ukita making a split decision, and he's always got this like close up on his face. His hat's slightly over his eyes, kind of makes it look like he has an eye patch at some point. A lot of the times, but it always cuts to him, looks at him. Music hits, and he goes, "All right, I've made my decision. We're going to go straight into the star. We're going to lure the enemy ship into it. I don't know what's going to happen with that matter monster behind us, but it's our only option. What are we going to do? We're going to use the wave motion gun to time it to fire at a solar flare and go through the solar flare." Captain, that's crazy. And he's like, do it.
I got,
Do you have a better idea?
I love that moment.
Like,
Do you have a better idea? Or do you just want to, like, go into the star now and die?
I love that moment because, like, it's one of those moments where you realize that the wave motion cannon can be used as more than just simply shooting the enemy or destroying the enemy.
Right.
As it's one of those things, like, it's the last-ditch effort, but the last-ditch effort isn't necessarily to turn around and fire this thing at the enemy and hope they die.
Right. Okita sees escape more important as destroying the enemy, and a lot of the crew doesn't see it that way, and Kodai is one of them.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a hothead. He's out for revenge a lot of the times because of the death of his brother. But he's learning from Okita in his decision, and the crew's learning as well. If it's not clear, Okita's my favorite character in the entire show.
That's cool. I like him.
Like, he is a straight badass. And I love the presentation. What he means to the crew is so clear, and the amount of respect he commands is also very clear. Otherwise, they wouldn't go with his cockamamie plans, because they come out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
So there's well, what are your thoughts, Hickey?
what, on the captain?
Yeah.
I think he's an interesting character. I think he's very straight on the duty. Ever since the beginning of the show, he's like, no, we're going to Skandha, but we need to avoid the battles as much as possible. So usually he goes to the most safe and smart decisions, you know. Like with the
Survival is his prime directive.
yeah, like with the creature mass gas thing that were pursuing them in space. They shot at the thing. They shot a laser cannon at the thing. The thing ate the energy, and he's like, well, if that thing ate the energy of my simple laser gun, it will probably eat the energy of the wave motion gun as well. So let's go to the sea. It looks like this creature is attracted to the energy of my ship. Let's go to the sun and see what happens. It might just try to go to the sun, and that's what happens. He's very sensitive and smart, you know, with his decisions. Aside from one that we're gonna talk later, like he usually he's this character. He's very straight to duty, especially because he's dying. I don't know if we're talking about it, but he is dying.
Yeah, from the get-go, he's always like talking to the doctor. Yeah, he's got some failing health issues going on.
He's on verge of death, and he still comes out of those planes because his determination of going to Skandha, get the Cosmos Cleaner D, and going back to Earth is so strong that it is stronger than his fear and his wounds and intoxication with space. What is it called? Space. It is I forgot the name. Space radiation. They call it space radiation. He's contaminated with space radiation,
right.
And also he has a fatal wound for the last battle. But he's still going there. He's still making his job. He lasted 100 days in command of this ship. In that situation. So he's, and also people respect him. People respect him without knowing the circumstances, and people respect him even more after that. So he's I think he's one of the best characters of Yamato, definitely.
And just to kind of clarify, because I mean we talked about how a lot of people look up to him and how he's important, but I just feel like it's kind of important to mention as well with knowing that he's sick, because it's not like people don't know that he's sick, maybe not to the extent. The crew doesn't know, but he's not just sick, he's old as well. So it's the question is obviously, well, why would they then choose him to captain the Yamato? And why do they have so much respect for him? The reason why they have so much respect for him, and the reason why he's chosen to pilot the Yamato, is because he, as far as I remember, he is the only one who has carried out a successful mission against Gamilas. As far as I remember, they have had many people die in wars with Gamilas.
And a lot of basically all their fleet is destroyed at this point. There's nothing left.
But that's why they choose him in specific, because they need someone with authority who can, who everyone can bound around. And what's easier to bound around a living war hero who has fought against and survived against Gamilas.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So to quickly go through a couple of this important midpoints here. Eventually, Kodai captures a Gamelon, and this is where he himself learns that even the alien race isn't so much different than humans. So just kind of a straightforward point there. Then eventually the crew starts getting hit with cabin fever, or space fever, you might say. Focus a little bit more about character backgrounds, such as Kodai and his best friend Shima, kind of butting heads, arguing. Any thoughts here?
No, I guess it's your everyday best friends, rivals, like butting heads. It's nothing new. It also looks very average. It's not.
I don't know, I kind of like this part in the show. It's showing that people are weak because what if they fail? They're gonna die for nothing. Earth's gonna die. You know, they're all starting to freak out. There's one guy who basically abandoned ship, falling straight into a Gamelon trap. So people are starting to lose their minds and hope. I think that was the point.
Yeah, no, yes. Just in case, but like, I mean, in terms of like, you know, Kodai and his friends, like rivalry, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like I get it, but ultimately I feel like
man up.
No, not man up directly, but it's like it's fine that they included it. I don't mind that it's there. Like, again, the more character background and the more character motivation, the more, you know, you build up your characters. That's fine.
Right.
But it's like it's one of those things like it's necessary, but I don't necessarily think it was super well handled. But hey, it's
well, I mean, any background for Kodai and I think Shima as well is not very well handled. Because usually it involves going into a flashback in the middle of a battle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think that is good handling. I think there are better things to show instead of a 20-minute flashback to how one of the guys of the crew was his brother's friend. That kind of thing. I would think at least.
No, I mean, of course things could have been handled better, but
I guess. Yeah, like for
what are you
example,
gonna do?
Aihara, which is the guy who abandoned the ship.
They sure fixed it in the remake.
Aihara, which is the chief of communication, who is the guy who abandoned the ship, right? Because there was this Gamela antenna-like thing, prop that was enhancing the signal between Yamato and Earth. So, like...
Yeah, the whole purpose was to try and trick them and make them more homesick.
Yeah, and that actually trapped him. So, like, when it comes to...
It did. It worked.
Yeah, but, like, when it comes to things like Earth, what has happened in Earth, his father died because he went to take part in a riot or something like that and got hit in the head and died, like, right in front of him. So when he goes out of the ship, so he's going crazy, and it's great. It's a great development. When he goes out of the ship and, like, hit this antenna, he's like, wait, yeah, I'm on the space, on the Yamato, to fight Gamelais. Yeah, it's the Gamelais who killed my father, you know, and that part is not very good. The same way with Sanada. Sanada's story is basically they need to destroy this magnetic spaceship that is trapped in Yamato. So, like, they go there. It goes Kodai and Sanada, which is the chief engineer.
It's a satellite, and we're at episode 18 then at that point.
And, like, Sanada, like, out of nowhere, start talking about how he met Kodai's brother, you know? And it's, like, 10 minutes of flashback. Then when they go to the main room of the satellite, and Sanada, like, gets trapped and say, no, don't worry, my legs and arms are fake and there are bombs in it. Just unscrew it and let's go out. And there's another flashback of how he was a kid and he wanted to go on a park attraction. Basically, because of his fault, he crashed the thing, and his sister died, and he lost all the members. And he was like, "Technology took all from me." Like, no, every single time they have flashbacks, it is not well developed. But when the characters,
Cabin Fever Man doesn't have to make sense. It makes sense in their minds because they're going crazy.
probably. Like every single time there's a flashback, it is not very well handled. When the character is on screen, developing his character on screen, not on flashback, but through dialogues, through decisions, it is very well handled. That's why Okita, which is the captain, never had a proper flashback. He's one of the best characters.
Yeah, we never learn about his past other than he was a war hero.
Yeah, and his son died on war actually also, but we didn't have the flashback. He didn't show the flashback, and he's one of the best characters because his development is through dialogues and decisions, not through flashbacks. You can go on, please.
Okay. So from this point on, we're at episode 19 now, and this is where we are essentially at the midpoint of their journey. A Gamelon base called Balon, or Balon. I'm gonna say Balon. And then from 19 to the end is non-stop action, essentially. Mm-hmm. With a small moment in between, and we'll get there.
Episode 25.
So this is where we meet probably the most important Gamelonian outside of Dessler himself, Mr. James Bond villain. This is Dommel. He is kind of because Balon's important for two reasons. Dommel is their best officer, Gamelon's best officer. They've lost all of their previous officers against the Yamato. Dessler's getting pissed off now. He still doesn't see Yamato as a threat just yet, but you can kind of sense his irritation, to say the least. He's even got his, when he wants to get rid of people, he just kind of flicks his chair and people fall through a hole in the ground and die.
Like old cartoons.
I love that. Old cartoons, old James Bond things, like flicking the chair tips him over and they die in like a lava pit. Anyways, so Balon is the one that sent out the fake message. He wanted to play psychological warfare. Then Dommel has grown in this kind of appreciation for Yamato in its battle, as just a general military respect. He calls out Ukita himself. Goes, I challenge directly the captain of the Yamato for this one last battle. It's basically us against you. And Ukita's like, well, no way around this. I accept. At least this way there could be no trickery. It's just a one-on-one battle. And the crew of the Yamato looks at Ukita again like he's fucking crazy. But okay, let's do it. Badass. One of the best moments in the series by far.
Oh, like
from a battle perspective.
one of the best battles I've seen in anime, actually. Really,
it's
just like
fantastic.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there, man.
Downright intense from the get-go to the end. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tori?
No, I really like this moment. Like, just I don't know, just the intensity, and it's like again. This is what I miss in a lot of shows. It's that, just kind of not even like a sense of hatred or like we're not because they get this point where it's like they're not even fighting they're not having this battle because they just downright hate each other and wants to kill each other. This is a battle out of respect for each other, for each other's skills, and that's like I don't know.
Well, there's there's even a piece of dialogue where they're on this Dommel and Ukita are talking to each other, screen to screen, like out of something straight out of Star Trek, and it goes down with Ukita goes, Dommel, if you just let us go to Iskander, we don't have to fight. I'm doing this for Earth. I fight for Earth. And Dama goes along the lines of, I respect you, but I can't let you through because I also fight for my homeland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they have their reasons. They respect each other full-heartedly, but they have to fight for what their purpose is. I loved it.
No, it's just
it's
just a moment rid of good versus evil, and just like, you know, it's cool, but it's cool because it's just people. I don't know. It's just people going into battle for what they, again, what I've talked about earlier.
Yeah,
people going into battle for what they believe in, for their side, for, you know, You can go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. It is interesting. Like it is.
So
also, what another thing I wanted to say is that although this battle is one of the best I've seen, it also has one of the worst moments. Which is, I mean, do you guys want to describe what happened? But just go to another thing, because I just can skip out and say what was one of the worst scenes of this series, and one of the worst convenient things that we can see in anime.
Well, what is it then?
The destruction of the carriers.
Go on.
Basically, the plan to finish off Yamato was to shoot a drill missile inside of the muzzle of the wave motion gun. They succeeded. Sanada goes inside of the missile and disarms it. Not only disarms it, but makes it go reverse. When the missile goes out of the muzzle, it hits one of the carriers. When it hits one of the carriers, of course, it explodes, and the explosion of it kills all major carriers of the Gamma fleet, only surviving the flagship where Doma was in. So, like, for me, although this is one of the best battles, like, with intensity and respect of both sides, how to handle the beginning of a battle and ending of a battle. The actual battle, after the missile result, is one of the worst things you can see, because it's just one ship exploded and the debris killed all of them. Basically, the end of the battle.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. I think it was the captain going, "Why are he mentioned during the battle like keep your distance from each other."
Yeah.
Otherwise,
even though
it might cause a chain reaction if one goes down.
I mean, even though, like, okay, I understand, like, there were 4 ships, 1 or 2, on the collateral damage. Like, one ship is also destroyed, the other one has heavy damage, and the other one is fine. No, all 4 destroyed. You know, that is. I don't think that is...
I don't know. I was more concerned with Sonata, the scientist, being able to just reverse alien technology so easily.
Yeah, he just
all the time.
he make a direct thing. He just pull out two wires and stick them together. But like, I think that happened because at that point they already knew the series gonna get canceled, so they had to save time. That is my own explanation.
Yeah, they had to speed things up. Well, speaking of speeding things up, this is where the series goes bang, 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 3 episodes done. Hard to believe, right?
Not really. Not really, this is the 70s.
Because right after this, I'm gonna go as quick as the series does, because that's all it deserves.
Sure.
And then we can get into discussion of each of those events. Okita goes down with his illness finally. He's bedridden. He's still giving advice. Kodai is taking over. He's taking the helm. They arrive, the ship, because they got past Balan, they now easily arrive at Iskander and discover that Gamelos is actually the twin planet from Iskander. They're right next to each other. They're neighbors.
They're related.
But before they can land on Iskander, Starsha, the woman from their dreams, it's like, hey, you made it, but there's that pesky neighbor next door. You kind of, they're not gonna really let you get here that easy. Even Starsha has a conversation with Dessler, like, can you just let him through? And he's like, nah.
I can't do that. Come on.
I can't do that. They suck. I'm just gonna kill them all. Us Gamelons aren't stupid like you people from Iskander who just, with your planet dying, you yourselves died as well. So he kind of called him out on that. You have this pacifist mentality, well, you're just gonna die. So I was like, okay, well, alright. So Dessler says, come on, Yamato, you'll never get there, we won't let you, you might as well take us on full on. Kodai's like, oh crap. And Uketa's like, you can't, unless we defeat them here and now, they're just gonna repeat what they've done. So you have to go. And that takes on the epic final battle on Gamelos against Dessler. And we learn about how Gamelon, how the planet Gamelos became what it was. Just basically over-industrialized, mixed in with the way the planet's deteriorating. The inner crust has become this just volcanic mid-continent eruption. So the waters are now sulfuric acid, the winds are hydrogen sulfide. Real wild stuff. So basically it's uninhabitable, and that's why the Gamelons are wanting to convert Earth into some place where they can live.
Yep.
Kodai goes into battle. They get into the Dessler makes them fall into their trap pretty easily, and Kodai falls for it through and through. And he's like, he even is like, oh, a ship in the sea? Pfft. He kicks his feet back, whatever. And Analyzer goes, we're corroding, bitch.
Yeah.
So Kodai freaks out and goes back to Okita, and Okita goes, dive into the sea. Another one of his crazy... Okita's in the bed, and he's like, dude, I got this. You won't corrode in 5 to 10 minutes. Then look for your moment. That's all he tells him. And then Kodai pulls out. He's in the inner crust, and he's just guns are firing everywhere. He's basically destroying Gamelos,
just genocide
from the inside.
Just genocide,
and just committing genocide.
Also, there was this thing about some of the buildings of the town of the Gamelos town were actually also missiles. So they were raining down missiles and guns firing, lava going through cities and streets, and people screaming. Yeah, it was just straight up genocide.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh yeah, and at the culmination of all this, Dessler's presumed dead because he goes up with the volcanic chain reaction that Kodai set off with Yamato, and Yamato's pretty much destroyed. And they him and Yuki look out in the distance, and it kind of has that Planet of the Apes moment where it's like, you've destroyed it all.
Yeah. He goes like,
you did this.
There's no silence. There's no sound. Everything. Yeah. There was just silent, and then we knew we had fucked up because we killed the entire race. Right now, and you have this.
Yeah. So
it is interesting because you have this. We are not the good guys. That moment. Now. Yeah, we came here to save her, but right now we are not the good guys. We just killed everyone, and we should be ashamed of that.
Yeah, and Dessler's advisors were just like, don't bring them here.
Yeah.
What if something goes wrong? And Dessler just being the James Bond villain, I can't lose.
Nothing's gonna go wrong. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Nothing ever goes wrong except the whole time.
I'm the main character.
So they go to Iskander, and things get weird there, to say the least.
Episode 25.
They get their Cosmo Cleaner D.
Cosmo Cleaner D, yes.
This is the second to last episode, and they've gotten to Iskander.
Yeah.
Remember, I have to get back.
We find out that Kodai's... they still have to get back. It took 25 episodes, and then there's one left to get back. We find out Kodai's brother didn't die. in episode 1. He's been in a coma the whole time with Starsha on Iskander. What, he woke up a week ago and they're in love? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
there's this this exchange of lines between Yuki and Starsha. Yuki just going, "You love him, don't you?" And then you have this dramatic OST in the on the background. Dun, dun, dun. Like, what the fuck? What was it, like, out of left field? Everything in this episode, everything in episode 25 and 26,
Everything
is just out of left field. You don't expect it. Like, it's just
everything up until this point was amazing. Like, never, especially in the 70s, just nothing compares. And then we have 25. Got your Cosmo Cleaner? Nah, you're in love. Brother's still alive. Mutiny on the ship. Saying they want to repopulate on Iskander.
Take Yukimori.
But they're all men and one woman.
Yukimori so that they can repopulate. Fucking tsunami hits. Wipes out everyone except Yukimori, who gets rescued. Fucking...
Like half the crew dies or something. It's
Kodai's
nuts.
brother decided he's going to stay on Iskandar with Starsha. So even though he's finally alive, he's basically accepted death. So there's that.
yeah. Also, they never explain. They never explain why everyone in Iskandar is dead. They're just dead.
Nope.
No, they just say the planet deteriorated and a tsunamis going to hit.
But they never say like
anything.
You know, something happened to the air and killed a bunch of people. Or it was a disease. No, it's like the planet's dying, so everyone died.
Dead.
Like,
I find it funny though that the queen is the only one left, and she's like, "I'm gonna be here to oversee everything." And it almost makes me kind of believe that let's just say that all the air or something got poisoned or something. It makes me feel like she just kept all the air in her castle and let everyone else die.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
No, the Starsha had to bury everyone. Oh, that is so fucked up.
Oh boy. So now we got the last episode.
Yay!
Espo! Oh my rubber man! All over again.
All over again, yeah.
Our boy Sonata comes through again, so 25 episodes to get to Iskander, 1 episode to get back to Earth, and Dessler's still alive by himself on a ship of his own to make one last-ditch effort.
To use the Dessler cannon.
To use the Dessler cannon to destroy all, take himself out if he has to. Sonata, OP scientist, more so than the wave motion gun at this point, puts up a shield to reverse it because he got that idea from the reflection gun. Because he just made it. Because reasons.
Like,
and then they make it back to Earth. Ah, but wait. There's one more moment.
2 more moments.
Just
2
one.
more moments. 2 more moments.
Yeah.
Come on. 2.
Okay, well I guess technically 2. All right. Yuki dies. Her corpse...
Well, I mean, Dessler kind of invades the Yamato.
Yeah.
And they spread the poison gas.
You tell it, Tori. You're going to do a better job than me.
They spread the poison gas in there to kill off everyone. So, they have to try to survive somehow. So now even the rest of the crew members on the Yamato are dying.
Pretty much.
Yuki decides that because, the fucking, what's it called? Cleaner... Jesus,
Cosmo Cleaner D.
Cosmo Cleaner D.
The best detergent of the galaxy.
She runs there because she's just like, oh yeah, we can use this to get rid of the poison gas in here. So she used that, but of course she gets caught in the poison gas, and then she dies. But she gets rid of the poison gas, so Dessler has to retreat to the ship, and then Dessler is destroyed because his cannon, which is the same as the wave motion cannon, is reflected.
Oh my god, Yamato is so OP. Holy shit, it has a force field and a wave motion gun. Oh my god.
And then, as they return to Earth, fucking Okita, he gets his last look at Earth because he's on the verge of death, and when he finally gets to see Earth again, his mission is complete and he can now rest in peace. and they're standing there watching the Earth. Everyone is there. Fucking Kodai is holding Yukimori in his
come on.
arms.
It's not only that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Hickey's
come
gotta
on.
tell this part.
It is Kodai the edgy child moment of this series. Because everyone is commemorating. Dude, they did it. Like, because through the entire show, they talk about how many days they have left to complete the mission. And every single time they're like, oh, because of the attacks and detours, we are very delayed. We are gonna arrive at Earth in November, I think, and we shoot at October. At the end of the series, they arrive at Earth in September. So it's cool. So they're like, yes, we made in September. Everyone is happy. Everyone is commemorating. Everyone is getting drunk. And then Kodai just appears. Princess carrying Yuki's body, like in the middle of everyone. Dude, everyone is commemorating. They are alive. They survived. Like, I think at the end of Yamato, I would say 3/4 of the Yamato crew died. You know?
Yep.
Like,
oh yeah, for sure. There's only like 20
Yeah.
people left.
and like everyone is commemorating, and there's just Kodai with a body, with a fucking corpse, walking on the fucking road, and everyone is
He's on
silent.
the bridge
You know,
with her.
everyone shut up and get sad. Like, if I was there, I was like, I would look at him like, God fucking damn it, Kodai. I am happy. Why the fuck you with a corpse here? You fucked
Why are you
up.
bringing the dead body up here?
Why did you bring the dead body up here? You fucked up my fucking commemoration. Now I need to be sad because you the only girl in the ship that I masturbated once or twice in the thing stand in front of me now. God fucking damn it. It'll be just like it is. Why?
Oh god.
Like in all honesty,
But there's there is one more kick in the pants though.
You know, like in all
There's
honesty,
one more kick in the pants moment. So, the moment of Ukita's death, light leaves his body, and then Yuki starts glowing. So light goes into her, and then she just wakes up,
yeah, she was alive.
and everyone's cool with it.
Yeah, everyone.
She
Then
was
everyone
dead
starts
until she
coming.
no longer is.
Like in all honesty, I thought.
They're just like, oh, I guess she was asleep the whole time.
Yeah, she
I
was.
don't
She
know.
was in a coma, just like Mamoru's brother. In all honesty, I thought
my
like
God.
when I saw him, you know, taking off the cloth to see the body, to see Yuki's corpse, I thought he was gonna kiss her, and that's it. I was like, okay, that's fine, but dude, when he just got the corpse and started walking, it's like, no, don't do that. You don't do that. But yeah,
Don't be that guy.
No, bro, don't
be
do that.
guy who
Don't
brings
be
the
that guy.
body to the party. Come on.
yeah, don't be that guy. But yeah, but like Yuki
Dude, guys,
was alive.
been there. I've been there. It's not. It's a total. It's a
Did
total
you,
buzzkill.
did you bring your dead girlfriend to a party?
There was a dude. It was like 1985. There was a prostitute. Things got weird.
No, you don't say.
I got some cocaine. It was kind of weird. But yeah, like, but she was alive, and like that doesn't make sense. This is the only thing that is not explained. You know, there are things during the series that actually change the explanation. For example, when one of the Gemini, one of the pilots is captured by Yamato crew. They say that they can survive in the same atmosphere of Earthlings or humans. When Dazzler is invading Yamato, he says we can survive in the atmosphere, so we need to go back when the gas was being cleaned by the Cosmo Cleaner D. You know, that kind of thing changes. That is fine. That is completely fine. Because I think Leiji Matsumoto likes to do stuff like that. Told me.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. But Yuki...
Yeah, he likes doing weird stuff like that.
Mamoru's brother being dead and then not. He was alive. He was actually captured. You know what? It is fine. But Yuki waking up...
He also likes his aliens drinking wine all the time.
And whiskey as well. Yuki waking up doesn't make sense, and they don't explain. They just run with it. They're like, you know what? She's not dead. Yeah. The end. Yamato.
No, I remember. my thoughts watching the last 2 episodes were, wow, 24 straight episodes of I need to watch the next one, followed by 2 episodes ending. What just happened?
Legitimately, when I was watching this, I legitimately thought, oh, okay, so I get it. The first season is going to be their journey to Iskandar, and the second season will be their journey back.
I thought that as well. I thought that as well. I thought as well, because like we are approaching episode 23 and they weren't in Balan yet. I was like,
yeah,
they still have half of a fucking universe to go. You know, I was like, well,
yeah.
And you have Wuchu Senkan Yamato Chu from 1978. So like, yeah, okay, they're gonna go like they're going to Balan. They're gonna have a fucking awesome 5-episode fight in Balan, and then second season. No, of course not. It actually got cancelled. So they just rushed the end and did whatever they thought it would be cool to just mash everything in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It is still very enjoyable. Like those 2 episodes, like just the twist, so many twists in 2 episodes. It's just fun.
It was weird.
It's why I love Leiji Matsumoto, man. Like I don't care. It's not good writing, but I like even when he just ends up having to make shit up and fuck shit up. It's like the guy's writing is entertaining. Okay, I love it. Even just to kind of use an example of what I mean by like when he makes weird choices, when he does weird choices at times. Like I remember watching Galaxy Express 39, which is another show written by him, and you come to this point where you have 2 things. You have the unstoppable gun and the unbeatable armor. Like basically, or armor that can reflect anything and a gun that cannot be stopped. What wins? Obviously, the gun that cannot be stopped because it can't be stopped. That's the logic he uses, but it's like, but that makes no sense. This armor should be able to reflect anything.
Yeah, I remember.
But it doesn't have can't be stopped.
It is the same with Gun Frontier. It is a manga that he wrote, and there's an anime as well. I think it's Sprite 2000. It is fun, but you have the same problems. Also, Can we talk about how Leiji Matsumoto has this fetish about tall blondies? Like every single series he does, there's a tall blondie.
It's not just every single series has the character. Every he reuses the same character designs and then puts them in a different story. Like Kodai is Captain Harlock. Starsha
even in Excel Saga they joke about it,
and also Maytel,
and even in Excel Saga, like Excel Saga has a character who is Leiji Matsumoto tall blondie. You know, they joke about it in that show.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah, he just puts like different character spins on the same designs. It's funny. All right, so what did everybody score? Space Battleship Yamato 1974.
I did a 6. I put a 6. I think for the music is amazing. Animation is amazing for the time. Both. It got cancelled, so like the story is too much plot twists. The characters is still
Oh, bummer.
And 1 because I really enjoyed this show.
Yeah. No, same. I really did enjoy the show. Honestly, the end did bring it down for me as well, but I still ended up giving it a 7 because the animation, music, that first half, man, you can't go wrong with that first half. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
So to me, I thought 1 to 24, it was a perfect show for me. I saw nothing wrong. Putting my mind in the 70s, it was flawless for its time. And then the last 2 episodes hit, and I'm like, nope, that's a 9. All right, nope, that's
yeah.
That was my whole train of thought going through it, because I saw basically nothing wrong with this show. Like, no reused animations, a tight story, as tight as it can be for the 70s.
I really like you.
Characters I was into, a lot of show don't tell, character development, and with an evil villain that you hate and laugh at, characters that you respect, making a point A to point B story so engrossing. I couldn't stop watching. It's an 8 out of 10 for me show.
Great.
And as of this moment of what I'm watching in 2199, it's a 10 out of 10 show.
2199 is absolutely fantastic.
Big words.
I watched 2199.
I'm only halfway through 2199, and that's a 10 out of 10 right now.
I watched 2199 before I watched Yamato. And the thing, like, I really like 2199. I like 2199 more than the original Yamato. Not much, but kind of. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that they explain things in 2199 that isn't properly explained.
Sure.
And as well as they change a lot of things. Like, for example, like Hickey, what you pointed out. You pointed out that, like, you know, Yukimori, she basically does every role in the ship. In 2199, they have more characters that fill out these roles. They have more female characters that fill out these roles. But yeah, like, they do.
Yeah.
And they give... What I say, I literally even like to say that 2199 and the original Yamato, despite being based on the same things, are two different stories. Because they have two completely different focuses. The original Yamato is way more about the journey and about the battles. 2199 is way more about the crew on their journey.
But there still are the battles.
The battles are there, but some of the battles are cut. Not every battle are there.
Yeah, all they've done is flip flopped what's important 1 and important 2. They've just flipped them,
and I think that makes both series very much worth watching. Because
I think so too.
2199 is on my plan to watch list. It's been there for a while, so I might watch it. Since I'm on Yamato hype, I might watch it.
You should. I mean, you got hotter female characters. No. You got a Kodai checking out Yukimori's ass. It's great.
Oh no, those space outfits in 2199.
They're nice.
They got some good assets to them.
And of course, if you want to be even more happier, right now, what's going on right now, 2202 Yamato 2202 is being made.
Oh, yeah, I honestly can't wait, because there is a reason why I've watched all of Yamato, and there's only one particular season I can say don't watch, and that's the very last one. That one's no good. Everything else is perfectly fine.
I'm gonna watch it all anyways.
No, it's you're gonna be very sad at the end. You're gonna be like,
it'll be worth it.
I mean, there's a comet battleship that they face. There's Be Forever Yamato that's really good. I speak highly about that. It's good stuff. I have the utmost respect for Uchusenken Yamato 1974.
Same. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I think, just to kind of bring it back to the whole animation point, when I started my quest, I obviously started with Ashitano Joe, and while I really respect the original Ashitano Joe for its storytelling prowess. I think that is almost storytelling perfection. But production, not so much. Yamato, I think, it does not have storytelling perfection. It came close at times, but the end lets it down.
Yeah.
But production-wise, it's visually, if you look away from the Leiji Matsumoto designs, it still holds up today.
They're fine.
They're fine, but they're gonna be very off-putting to a lot of people who watch like more modern anime. But visually speaking, animation, effects work and all of that, it holds up with anime today. Sure, it's not as flashy as it would be today. The lasers aren't as bright as they would be today, but it still holds up today. There's nothing wrong with watching the 1974 version now. It's not that hard to go back to, honestly.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think that does it for us, guys.
Yeah.
That was episode 16 of the Red Leaf Retrocast. The Worldwide Weebs have brought you Space Battleship Yamato from the 70s. I wonder what's in store for us next, guys. Well, you'll just have to tune into the next episode. Found on iTunes, Google Play on your Android devices, TuneIn Radio, plethora of other sites such as Stitcher. You can find every episode on the YouTube channel Moosen Spiel. Hit us all up on Twitter, Tori Extra, and myself, Bowling JD, or just search Red Leaf Retrocast. Please join us for the next one, and thank you very much.
Peace. Thank you all for listening. Bye.